and here we go. We have liftoff.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
R68 chamber pressure looks good.
Doubling up. Roger, with planet.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Flighting down to SC off. Bring in SC off. Off. It's orange!
R45! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed.
We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting in the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? We don't need any more of these.
All right, folks, you know the drill. You should see a rocket on your screen. You should be able to hear the sound of my voice if we've done it correctly, because we are here standing by for the launch of Vulcan out here, United Launch Alliance. You can see the name on the building really big. You can see the rocket there in the background, and you can see the name of the mission, USSF-106. Say that 10 times fast. Launching in just under an hour and 20 minutes. My name is going to be Das, here having a chat with you. Don't get a lot of these under my belt these days, but they give me the easy ones, because I just get to say, like, it's the third ULA launch this century, or whatever. I don't have to count how many Falcon 9s there were or anything like that. With me out in the field and in the studio today, we're going to have a ton of NSF regulars that you hear all the time, starting with Ryan. Mr. Ryan Caton here in, not the studio with me, but on comms. How you doing, Ryan?
It is a wonderful day, you know. We've got some clear views of the pad, which is always a bonus, unlike Vandenberg. But yeah, ULA has been working on Vulcan over the last few hours. They're topping things up, and fingers crossed we get a nice launch in just over an hour's time.
You sound like you've been following along those live updates on the ULA website, huh?
Yeah, I've been getting a ping in my ear every 5 minutes.
The live blog posts. We'll be happy to read those aloud to you here, folks. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on. Also, out in the field, we have basically the entire Cape team out there today, kicking it off with Max Evans over at the press site. I don't think, we're not going to have everybody here check in on comms. I could just say where they are, right? Yeah, that's the plan. All right, cool. Max Evans is over there providing some views from the press site. And then over on the Space Fort side, one of the causeways, we have Mr. Jerry Pike. We've got Sawyer Rosenstein. We've got Julia Bergeron. And we have one more. That last name, you're not actually in D. There's D up at the top. We have D Wise. They are all over there performing, giving you those side views. Here, this view where the transporter is in the view of the rocket. This angle is coming from the press site. When we get that side-on view where you can see the rocket and the transporter is to the left of it, there you go, look at that. That is from where the rest of the crew is over there on the Space Fort side. But y'all know the drill. We're going to be showing y'all all the different views that we have coming up in just over an hour, just over our 15 minutes here for the launch. We'll stick with you the entire time. We'll be answering some questions for you, so you know what to do in chat. Tag us at NASA Spaceflight. Goes into the cool little software, and Ryan will be grabbing some viewer questions here this evening. But it's the regular launch experience. We're going to share with you what we're seeing, and hopefully we have a final time as we see Vulcan launch out this evening. Ryan, I don't do this much. What did I miss?
Usually we talk about the weather.
Well, hey, thanks to the studio team as well. As always, it takes a lot of people to get these.
Oh, yeah, we're meant to thank the producer. I always forget that as well.
Kevin, Michael Reed is making all the lights blink in the proper orders this evening. Thanks to Kevin and the rest of the team that helps with the back end stuff there. But weather, do you have, did you just show your own picture on the screen? Nice. Weather, do we have an update as to the current status of the weather? I mean, the sun's going down, but I don't see a lot of clouds out there. How's it looking, Ryan?
Yeah, so the 45th Weather Squadron, who are the Weather Squadron of Space Launch Delta 45, who is the Space Force kind of division which is in charge of managing the eastern range, which is all of the rockets that launch from Florida and the eastern range on the east coast. They look over the weather and do forecasts and things like that. They have issued a 20% chance of violating the weather constraints, which means, judging by the forecast, we are 80% go. Now, we have seen in recent launches, shall I say, or recent attempts of a single launch, that weather really good might not actually might not actually result in the rocket launching, and really bad weather predictions might result in the rocket actually launching. So, you know, don't judge that by saying it's definitely going to go, because things can always switch around at the last minute. But things are looking good. Their only primary concern on the ground is the cumulus cloud rule. And then in the additional risk criteria, there is low to moderate solar activity. So those are the only two things that they're monitoring for now. But, you know, the forecast is looking pretty good.
All right, let's check in out with the field. I think we've got Sawyer on voice comms here. Sawyer, do we have you?
You absolutely have me. How's it going?
So give us a report from out there in the field. Like, you've got your Mark 1 eyeballs on the sky. How does it look for you?
It looks spectacular. It's just the thin, wispy clouds right now. There's a couple of little thicker, puffy clouds out in the distance, but nothing near the area. It's cool. There's a light breeze. There's minimal to no waves on the water. So everything looks pretty much as good as you can get visibly here. And again, proceeding so far, I don't see anything that would cause issues at the moment.
All right. And real quick, we just got a little bit of an update from Mr. Tori Bruno saying at 1 hour and 12 minutes, there's a little bit of a built-in hold there. Their board is green, so you'll see the count continue to count down. Sawyer reporting in from the field that things are looking good. Sawyer, talk to us a little bit about the potential for a jellyfish here. The sun's going down. We see some pinkish colors in the clouds. Is there some possibility, or have we slipped out of the potential for a true jellyfish here?
I think we may have just slipped out of the potential for a true jellyfish. That usually happens about 20 to 30 minutes after sundown, or 20 to 30 minutes before sunrise. And this one was originally scheduled to launch at 7:59. Sunset here is at 8:03. So now with it at 8:56, it's 53 minutes past sunset. It's going to be cutting it probably close.
Yeah,
So
that's a little bit
likely
out of range there, where we wouldn't expect the sun to be shining on the plume, but dark down there on the ground. We usually want to be like 30 minutes, 20 minutes after sunset. So unfortunately here, since we've slipped just to the end of the window, it looks like that might not be a thing we have. Of course, the window this evening opened at 7:59 p.m. Eastern time. That would be opening, I guess, opens in just a few minutes. But they are currently targeting 3 minutes before the end of the window, 8:56 p.m. Eastern time, with the window that closes at 8:59. So we'll see if they get it off the pad here. But as for now, things are looking good as we count down to the launch. Ryan, we got the weather report in. Have we got any questions coming in yet?
I'm having a quick look through. Troy kicking things off, asking single stick Vulcan Heavy when. I'm not sure what that could be related to. Of course, we had the Kuiper launch the other day with that Vulcan Heavy single stick, which we also just made a video on over on Breaking Space. If you want to go watch that whilst we wait.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a question here from Missy asking, is that supposed to be on fire on the side? So Sawyer, from a couple of the angles, there looks to be a fire on the side, as they said. Is that intentional? A little bit of the GSE going on over there from your perspective?
Yep, we could see it here too. From our angle, it looks like the bushes are on fire, but they are not. That is coming from a flare stack, because this vehicle, for the first stage at least, uses liquid natural gas, which is basically liquid nitrogen, or not liquid nitrogen, excuse me, liquid methane. So as a result, they have to burn off any of the excess. So they use the pipes, they pipe it away from the rocket, and then do the burn off. So that is the burn off from methane. Again, they also have the liquid oxygen that they use on the first and second stages. No, but that's the big bright flame that you are seeing for this mission.
I think, Ryan, that was a question I saw scroll through chat there, that it was good to hit. The fire there is intentional. Sometimes instead of trying to recapture or recondense some of those propellants, it makes more sense to just vent them off and flare them off like you see there on the left-hand side. Now, do we know for a fact that that is liquid natural gas there on the side? Because the second stage uses a different propellant, doesn't it, Sawyer?
Yeah, the second stage is cryogenic in that it uses liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen, which has been a staple for the Centaur upper stage all the way up to and including the new Centaur 5 that we see here. So it is potentially different, but just based off of the color of the burn and the brightness of it, my guess would be that that would be LNG. And again, you'll hear those used interchangeably, LNG and methane. Liquid natural gas is mostly methane with a couple of added things in it. So those are used kind of to mean the same thing.
Like, I really wonder, is it marketing like, oh, our methane rocket, it's so cool, it's new technology, it's methane, and then ULA's over here like, yeah, it's natural gas, it's everywhere. Like, it's just easy to store, we know how to move it around, so many things are powered this way. Is there truly a huge difference between methane and natural gas?
It's always
Not
felt
that
like
I'm aware
marketing
of.
to me, to be perfectly honest.
It's felt like marketing to you? What do you think, Sawyer?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's not pure liquid methane, if you want to go that way, because it has other chemicals mixed into it, so it's not pure burning clean methane, but I mean, it's anywhere from like 95 to 98% methane anyway with LNG.
Gotcha, one way or the other. I just, like, I saw some of the setup photos, because the team goes out and they set remotes and the rocket rollout. Sometimes we're out there for those as well. And on some of those photos, the tanks aren't labeled methane, CH4, right? We see that all over Starbase. They're labeled LNG, liquid natural gas, and it's like, wait, what's the difference? I thought they were the same. But in any event, that is what you see here. The rocket's already well under its way being fueled. They started this a couple hours before we went live here, if I'm not mistaken. And we are continuing to count down, now less than an hour and 10 minutes before the launch and the end of the window. So if it doesn't go at that T0 that they're sort of going, they don't have a lot of wiggle room in those remaining couple minutes. I actually don't know if they could try to target something else there at the end of the window. Let's keep going with a couple questions here, Ryan, and then we'll talk a little bit more about the spooky payloads on the rocket itself, shall we?
Yes, we, as Elksin, Ron has said, we know the weather conditions, but how's the mosquito level out there, Sawyer?
Jeez. They carried Sawyer off. They took Sawyer.
We just lost Sawyer there for a moment.
Got distracted for a moment. What was the question?
Mosquitoes. It sounds like there's so many mosquitoes. They're blocking your Starlink signal.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How is the mosquito level out there? We've heard the weather level. How's
Right now, the mosquito level. Right now, the mosquito level's okay. We'll see if it holds up as it gets later into the night. But so far, with the lack of rain at the moment and the light breeze, it's tolerable.
Did you get the big Cape mosquito clouds that happen like right when the sun goes down? All of a sudden, all of the mosquitoes come out to feed. I guess technically, I don't know if that's what they're doing. They're either coming out to feed or they're coming out to breed more mosquitoes. But no big clouds tonight?
That's still 20 minutes away from sundown, so we'll see.
Okay. All right. Cool. So a couple stats on the launch here. We've got it listed as ULA's 166th launch overall. It's the third launch of the year and Vulcan's third launch overall. It's the first launch of Vulcan in its VC4 configuration. A little tough to see here, especially with the background, but it's Vulcan VC4 because it's got 4 of those GEM strap-on motors on the side. You can sort of see them hanging off. Maybe you see one of them, the other ones are probably right behind it there, and then 2 on the other side of the TE. There you can see 2 of the white sticks from this angle down there, but we've seen Vulcan launch before. This is the first time we've seen it launch with 4 of the strap-on motors. It's the 80th launch from Slick 41. If you want to be cool, you say Slick is Slick, not SLC. And it's Vulcan's first national security mission, this demonstration mission that they've got aboard here. It's a certification mission as well. I know they weren't quite certified for Vulcan yet, last I checked. Didn't they need one more payload in there or something? Let's talk about the payload of the mission, Ryan. How's that?
Yeah, so usually with these Space Force missions, they don't really say anything because it's all classified and super secret and nobody can ever know anything about it ever. But this time around, one of the payloads, so there are multiple payloads, however, the way that the Space Force is defining it is the primary payload on this
Right.
flight, as they say, is NTS-3, which stands for Navigation Technology Satellite 3, which is, and I quote, a planned satellite to demonstrate new technologies relating to satellite navigation, which is a little bit bland, but the Space Force continues on to say that this is essentially it's an Air Force Vanguard program experiment, which is provided by the Air Force Research Laboratory and built by L3 Harris. So it's essentially a kind of well, that's what the program is called. It's a research satellite, basically, to try and demonstrate agile positioning, navigating, and timing, and doing all of that in the near geosynchronous orbit, which is where this payload is destined to end up. So that's essentially an orbit where the period it takes the satellite to orbit around the Earth is nearly 24 hours long. So that means, from a perspective on Earth looking into the sky, the satellite doesn't move, but of course the satellite is moving because it's orbiting around the Earth at the same rate as the Earth's rotation. So it's essentially kind of a demonstration of kind of flexible reprogramming the signals, steering antennas electronically, advanced timekeeping, that kind of thing for navigation in space, as the satellite is called.
Gotcha. Over on, I went through our article, right? We have the launch roundup for the week where we talk about all the launches that are happening. And it was also mentioning there's an experimental signal generator on board that's supposed to be able to be reprogrammed on orbit. If you know how GPS works and how communications work, the exact clock on each satellite and the receiving devices are critical. The exact timings between those things. So apparently this thing has some sort of experimental signal generator that can be reprogrammed while it's on orbit. And you get things in there where you're trying to dodge interference, you're trying to defend from counterattack or for countermeasures or stuff, that sort of thing. So they don't say exactly what it is. They give you a little bit of information, but it's not like you get a schematic of the satellite. But Vulcan here, sticking out there on the launch pad. Hopefully we get a launch here this evening, coming up in just under an hour and, 5 minutes now? Yeah, about an hour, 5 minutes. All right. Hey, also, y'all, it takes a ton of work to get this done. We don't magically show up and then somebody just hands us feeds, or we don't steal feeds from other people that are out there doing it. We have our own teams that are out in the field. So really quickly, big thanks for y'all's support in supporting us getting set up. There you can see over at the press site, VAB in the background. That is Max set up over that way with a couple different cameras, not pictured in this view, Max, but we've got a couple cameras there and then a PTZ camera in the background from the press site. That's that first view. And over on the causeway, here's the rest of the team. You got Dee, Jerry, Julia, and Sawyer over there on the causeway, set up to get those other angles for you. So across the point of the broadcast here, we'll be saying thanks to some folks that are supporting us, folks that are joining the membership program here. Toby Woby became a PADRAT member. Gloria Hutchinson became a PADRAT member, and Craig Stewart also joining the membership program. If you're a space nerd and you want behind-the-scenes footage of what's happening at Starbase, and when we go out to the field and set up like this, and you want to support what we do, you can join that YouTube membership program, and you'll get a little badge next to your name and stuff like that. I mean, that's cool because it shows the folks that are helping us keep doing this. But you also keep us going. You keep us able to get the folks out in the field, get the equipment out there, pay for the bandwidth. Good grief. The bandwidth is not cheap, but we do appreciate y'all's support as we go through the broadcast this evening. Won't spend too much time on it, but thank y'all for supporting our teams out there in the field. Now, wait, what's this? That's not, it's got...
This is the beautiful, so much better Ariane 6 rocket, which is, European, which means it's better than literally any other rocket ever built. Obviously being slightly sarcastic there. But funnily enough, the two launches are kind of coinciding. We have an Ariane 6 launch 15 minutes before a Vulcan launch. And technically...
Funny looking Vulcan.
Yeah, technically, this is the kicker. Both of their trajectories, if you look at it on a 2D map, will overlap. Because we have Vulcan from Florida going east, and then Ariane from French Guiana going northwest. So eventually, their trajectories will cross, but at different times, of course. We're not expecting them to crash into each other.
They're not trying to like hit the speeding bullet with another bullet or anything like that.
I don't think so.
This one has a little fire going there too in the background. That fire looks a little bit more serious than the one out at Slick 41. But
It's like a fireplace.
it looks like a bonfire or something next to it. That is much less easily identified as an intentional flare. But I think we're going to try and show this one as well, aren't we? It's like a twofer.
Yeah, I mean, 2 launches for the price of 1. Why would you say no to that?
Hey, feedback for United Launch Alliance real quick. The lighting on the European rocket is much nicer, honestly. Like they've got.
I mean, it's because the European rocket is better, so what else would you expect?
Props to ULA. Their logos are actually lined up with the SRBs properly, so it's not
soya
asymmetric. Once you point it out, you can't unsee it. Okay.
Wait, what are you talking about? The logos aren't aligned with the SRBs.
So
read me in here.
Ariane 6 has 4 SRB mounting points, right? Which are positioned 90 degrees apart on the core stage.
Okay.
But when they fly in the 2 SRB configuration, those 2 SRBs are mounted 180 degrees apart, but that is 45 degrees offset to the sticker layout on the core stage and on the fairing. So even though the stickers are facing the camera, the SRBs are 45 degrees off, which means the stickers don't line up with the SRBs like they used to do on Ariane 5. And it's really annoying, and there's nothing we can do about it.
It just looks like I was in a hurry and I just strapped the SRBs on in Kerbal and just needed to ship it. Like, hey,
Also
folks, go ahead, sir.
I'm sorry, I was going to say also was worth noting for Vulcan, the way that they have their setup, basically they're all kind of in the same spot for if there was going to be 3 of them in this configuration. So there's actually a gap in between the 2 SRBs on each side where normally it would be able to fit up to 6. This mission only has 4. And someone pointed this out, and I cannot unsee it now, that when you look at it from the top down, it looks like an X-Wing fighter.
Nice. They're at 90 degrees offset, but they're less than 90 degrees. I guess some are less and some are more, right?
Yep. So the Gem 63 XL X-Wing fighter.
XL X-Wing fighter. Nice. Folks, if you look at the clock in the upper left-hand corner, you can see we have ticked under 1 hour to launch here. Of course, that clock is going to count down to the main launch we're doing here at the Cape. We expect that Ariane space rocket to go a little bit before that, about 15 minutes before that. So that is going to be the plan as we hang out with you here for the next hour, watching the clock count down. How are we doing on questions? Did we get any more questions coming in?
We did get this brilliant comment from B1062 saying, so in other words, methane is being ignited in the flare, correct? For those that know in chat, make yourselves known. From that moment, in the early days of NSF, let's put it that way.
Next, we're not going to talk about weather or precipitation or anything like that. We'll just leave that out of the conversation for now.
Yeah, no static fires.
Yeah. We also had this question from Mechazilla asking, why are there so many holes in ULA's launches? And I think this is interesting to hit because until SpaceX came along, pretty much all the launches had built-in holes like this. SpaceX is the only company that really does that kind of, will target a T0 and then go for it, right? That T0 clock will count all the way down through that last. SpaceX doesn't have built-in holes. That's what I'm trying to say. But pretty much everyone else did.
And so we see that, like, if you're looking at the ULA clock, it's like, wait a second, what is that counting down to? Their clock gets a little bit confusing. You even see here we have it marked as L minus 0058, blah, 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 right? In other clocks, you'll see T minus. And the way that ULA does it with their extra special built-in holds, they are going for L minus here. Let's see here. One of the things, I see a bunch of people talking about it in chat. We do have an awful lot of live streams here at NSF. And we had another live stream going over at Starbase at the exact same time. I guess it's a little bit of a race here. We'll see what happens first. Are they going to get that Starbase Ship 37 testing done, or are they going to get this Vulcan launched at the Cape? At some point, the streams will aggregate together. I'm curious, how many of you are watching both streams? I don't think there's any way you could listen to both streams. Like, that would be pure pandemonium if you tried to listen to, hey, look at that.
One in the left ear, one in the right ear.
Yeah. I think people... Wait, Me. Okay, but time out. Logic, Foster, Matt Ford, methane. I'll let you say methane, Ryan. Are you
Methane.
listening to both, or are you just watching both? I'm curious. I don't want
Trey
people to
Foster say they're listening to both, which
How?
and typing in chat.
You're listening to both cell phone and TV with volume, both. Gort from Mort says that witchcraft. I agree with that. You have the Starbase one muted, and now it's detanking. But before it did, you had this one muted. There were barely any launches before. That's an entire video. Ryan, that's a video we could do. Like, are there more
adding
launches
it to the list.
now? Are there really more launches if you don't count Starlink?
I'm sure Alex would love to dive through his spreadsheets. I think the answer would still be yes, but
I don't know.
We need to look at it.
Yeah, I don't know the answer. It's like we see so many launches, and it's like Starlink. Like, has the non-Starlink launch cadence actually increased? Or do we just feel like the launch cadence has increased because 9 out of 10 launches are a Starlink launch these days? I made those numbers up, by the way. We need to do actual.
I don't think they're wrong though, because if you go to the SpaceX website, I was doing that earlier today to do some research. Yep. Literally, their launches page, 9 out of 10 of the list are Starlink launches. That's not an incorrect statistic in the last week. It's brilliant.
From a spot check there, it seems like it passes muster, I guess, but. That would honestly be an interesting video. Like, are there actually more launches if you don't count Starlink? Or is the normal launch traffic basically the same and SpaceX just launches an awful lot of Starlinks? You could tell ULA didn't hire us to do this stream because we can talk about other launch providers in this show. We are independent. We're not controlled by any specific launch provider here. So it's perfectly fine for us to talk about this topic or show a Starship test stream right next to a Vulcan test stream while all the clocks... I guess our clock is still counting down. It sounds like the Starship clock may not be counting down anymore, huh? Oh, look, hey, there's graphs. All right, we'll get... I do think we should do a little explainer video on the Breaking Down Space channel, because I think that would be an interesting topic. But moving right along, the roadblock there out at Starbase. If we get an update on what's happening over there, we'll try to pop it over here for y'all, but it sounds like most of you are watching both. So if you get an update before we do, pop it into chat, and hopefully we'll see the updates here, so we can keep everybody apprised of all the different rocket-related activities that are happening this evening. L 54 minutes we're coming up here. Let's keep scrolling through the chat and talking with folks about what's going on. How are we feeling about Vulcan? Like, Vulcan's getting... man, it's even hard to say. Vulcan's getting a lot of launches under its belt. Vulcan's getting a launch under its belt, hopefully, but it's not even a lot of launches. Do we think Vulcan's going to, no pun intended, take off? Let's go to Sawyer on that one. Do we have Sawyer from the field?
Oh, my days.
I mean, you know.
You got to toss to me with the pun. I appreciate it.
I know. It made me think of you.
I mean, here's the thing. It took them a while to get the first two off, but they did get two of them with the Cert 1, and then Cert 2 took a little bit longer for everything to be approved and signed off on because of the observation that was part of the engine nozzle of one of the SRBs liberating itself from the mid-flight. But, I mean, once they got... I think was now the impetus for them to start picking things up again. They now have the National Safety and Security Launch Contract, the NSSL, so to be able to launch these secretive missions, that will help. Also, they have Kuiper coming up, and now that Kuiper is increasing its launch cadence and not scrubbing 5 days in a row during the first attempts on Falcon, they'll have more launches coming up. They will be using the 6 solid rocket booster with the extended fairing version of this rocket that you see on your screen, Vulcan. That will be VC6L. I think once that starts going, the pace will pick up, and it's also worth remembering that this pad is also shared by Atlas V, and there's still some Atlas V launches left. So right. I think that's probably why it seems like it's a slower pace than it might actually be.
Gotcha. It really is interesting. Like you mentioned, this is one of those NSSL missions, and that's about secured access to space. We hear all the time, well, why does ULA even exist anymore? right? Why don't they just have SpaceX do everything? In part of the entire concept here is to maintain multiple different vehicles that can launch these national security or classified payloads or military payloads or whatever, right? Not put all of the eggs in one basket or even in one provider basket. So you see things like this, and I think a lot of us have a lot of hope that Vulcan gets going, takes off here, right? Because we want to have that secured access to space, and we want to be able to get things into orbit without being at the whim of any one person or entity or type of rocket or valve that's included on this vehicle or whatever. How do you feel about that, Ryan?
Well, I was very fortunate to attend a teleconference briefing with Tori Bruno about this time last week, and he went into a lot of detail about the cadence and things that ULA are expecting going forwards. And he said that going into next year, into 2026, he expects 2 launches per month, which, for SpaceX, that isn't too impressive. But for ULA, which historically, they've launched 3 times so far this year, 2 times so far this year, excluding this launch, that would be quite an uptick in cadence. And they also have the brand new vertical integration facility, which is called VIF-A for Amazon, and the current one is going to be named VIF-G for government. And essentially what ULA wants to do is those different facilities where they actually stack the rockets before they roll it out. They want to be able to have many more vehicles stacked and kind of ready to go off the line, so they could have a fleet of Vulcans set to go, and then launch, 3 Vulcans at a time, then maybe do a couple Atlases, then do a couple Vulcans, and kind of try and group those different rocket families together. Because if they do that, there's less pad turnaround stuff they need to do, and theoretically that should allow them to kind of bump up that cadence. So like Sawyer was saying, they can get those Kuiper satellites out, they can get the national security satellites out, and with this certification now, I mean, they're clear to go on all of the super secret, spicy, scary government satellites. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. I mean, it really is a thing, folks. It's important for us to be able to launch rockets, and we want to have different rockets that can fly. It's good to have options, right? So here with Vulcan on the pad, I think a lot of us are rooting for Vulcan to go and get flying so that we have more rockets that we can watch, that we can share with y'all. Let me do a couple thanks really quickly. Tom Ray did a Capcom resubscription. And I got to do this because Tom's been a member for 60 months. Tom says, DOS, I made it 5 years from tank watching to Electron to Starship Kerbalization to SLS, New Glenn and Vulcan. I've been watching since 1962, but NASA spaceflight has been my favorite coverage. Tom, that means an awful lot to us here. We have a ton of fun. I know that we're not sitting here in suits and super serious telling you about today's launch is going to like there was a time when that was the coverage, right? But we have so much fun doing this and sharing these sorts of experiences with you. We appreciate you hanging in there with us for 60 months, 60 months. Thank you so much for the support, and we hope to see you around for 60 more. What's the launch thing here we got going on?
I think ULA is great at this. They always do a little pre-launch animation that they release. And the one thing that I find really interesting is the animation has the exact same color plume for the BE4 methane engines as well as the SRBs, which is not the case, but we appreciate the animation either way.
It was just efficient to now see, this is different actually. The plume here is slightly different colored, but it's still the same color as the center core. It doesn't work that way. Those SRBs put out huge billowing plumes, and the BE4s in the middle are pretty clean. But there you can see the SRB jettison that will be coming up this evening. It's just all of a sudden we got a ULA animation. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. ULA animation. Some B-roll out there. Let's talk a little bit about this. We always get folks asking us if they can see the launch, right? So my first question for y'all in chat tonight is, where are you trying to watch from? Are you at the Cape? Are you up the coast somewhere? Are you, I don't know, in Africa? That could be a thing. That's a totally thing. Where are you watching from? And we'll see in just a second if we can't talk to you about where you might be able to see this from. Now, this one's not hugging the coast, so it's not going to be as easy to see if you're up the eastern seaboard or anything like that. Well, let's see where you're checking in from. Charlotte, North Carolina, that's where I am, Brendan. I'm based in Charlotte, North Carolina, over by the airport. Palm Bay, Florida. I think a Florida person would have to tell me where Palm Bay is. I actually don't know where Palm Bay is, but we'll see if
It's
you'll be able
about
to...
35, 40 miles south of here.
So they should probably be able to see it, Sawyer?
I would think so.
All right. Well, I was mean, and I started talking about this before Kevin had the graphic here. But there you can see on the screen the direction this thing's going. It's going basically east. So you can see if you're up there, North Carolina, South Carolina, up the coast, probably not going to see it as much. If you're down in the southern parts of Florida, maybe you can, but it's not going to be going a polar trajectory down south. It's going to be going away from the coast there. So tonight, your viewing options are likely most right around the Cape. I think we've said in the past that rocket takes off. You can't hide it if you're around the Cape, unless you have really low cloud cover. But there is where you might be able to see tonight's launch from. Plume from Nassau. Oh, you should definitely be able to see that from the islands down there, right? I don't believe the Wyoming coast will see it. Gastonia, that's around the corner from me. I don't think Gastonia will see it, though. In any event, if you're down there in Florida, especially on the eastern coast of Florida, you see these things from Orlando all the time as well. Head outside when it's go time. What do you have to lose? There's one way to find out if you can see it or not. The cool thing is, and this is what I was keeping up with before the launch, was Next Spaceflight over here. If y'all know, we also have an app and a website called Next Spaceflight that you can download for free on your phone, iOS, Android, yada, yada, yada. We don't have it chock full of ads or anything like that, but it's got all this launch information. Here we're looking at, I don't think we've released this yet, have we, Ryan? This is the new website, isn't it?
I'm not sure if it's out yet, but it's something we're playing with and is getting ready. We're getting ready to go soon. But for now, it's a secret. But if you see, this is a website, and it doesn't look like the current website. So keep your eyes out, ladies and gents, because there's some things being cooked in the background, as the kids say.
If you're in the member program, we may have teased the link to this new version of the Next Spaceflight website that we've been working on here. So the membership program folks might have gotten a little sneak peek here, but we're updating the website. You can see it's like the mission control page. It's got the countdown timer. It's got the window and where we're targeting in the window right now. Easy links to the live streams there. We've got the live stream you're watching right now. If there's an official live stream, we'll have it as well. We've got the 24/7 streams over there at the Space Coast as well. You can see the go. It's 80% go for launch on the latest update. Scroll down, get you some information about the rocket and its diameters and payloads and that sort of stuff. You can go down and see the launch site even, and it gives you the little general trajectory. That's not an exact track. That's just like, hey, the rocket's going kind of this way, right? Out of Slick 41 from Cape Canaveral, and then some basic stats down on the very bottom where you can see it's the third launch of Vulcan Centaur overall. And what is it? It's the third launch of the year, I think it is, right? I have the same page up. I can just go back to it.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's ULA's third launch of the year.
It's the third launch of the year. But that website's free as well. You can see there's not a ton of ads chalked all over. I don't think there's any ads on it right now, besides the ad for downloading the app itself. But if you're a super fan and you want to keep up with stuff, Next Spaceflight is a great way to do it. I keep talking an awful lot, Ryan. I'm sorry. I haven't done this enough, and I need to let other people talk, don't I? I'm so rude.
I can find some things to talk about if you like, because in chat, Titan3C is saying, I'm here just across the water, so I assume that means they're watching from Titusville.
Titusville, maybe? Yeah.
That they get a pretty view as it goes up. The great thing about rockets with SRBs, I think we all love rockets with SRBs, but the great thing about them is it makes them really easy to spot from the ground, because you have this giant arrow that follows the rocket as it continues all the way to SRB separation, which is, with the Falcons, it's kind of like squinting into the sky, especially if it's bright out. You're squinting into the sky trying to see the rocket, but the SRBs are a useful marker, if nothing else. Even more useful if the nozzle falls off.
Oh my gosh. When I would go down and track rockets myself, right, I'd take my little camera out there, and we used to do these rogue launch broadcasts from the side of the road. The SRBs were easy because if you were to lose it, you just point at the plume and then follow the plume up, and you'll find the rocket at the end of the plume. The Falcon 9s have a little bit of a plume for parts of the flight, right? But sometimes if you lose those, you have trouble reacquiring them because they don't have that huge arrow in the sky, like you said, Ryan, pointing where you should point the camera if you want to see it. Let's keep going with some other questions and chat things that are going on and that sort of stuff here.
Yeah, and we have another great one here from Human asking why the paint job is different on this flight. And if you look very closely at the core stage there, right in the middle of the shot, you can see it's kind of like a red band and then a thin grey band and then a white band. And as you might have seen from the previous two flights, ULA did this awesome flame paint job on the side of the core stage. It looked awesome. They've kept the colour scheme, but Sawyer, they've kind of gone for a more business attire Vulcan, it seems like. Do you know why they've done that?
Yeah, they had mentioned early on that they would be doing away with the fancy painting and all of that. The main thing to note is that what you see on that rocket is actually SOFI, the spray-on foam insulation. So normally you're used to seeing the super orange insulation that there was on Delta IV Heavy, that there was on Space Shuttle. There's your shuttle mentioned for the stream. So they've kind of gone away with the fancy paint and everything on it. It's basically just get the foam on, get the color on, and off you go. So it's more business. It's less mass with all the extra fancy paint on it. But it's basically still just mainly SOFI, so foam.
It's like an easier color scheme to actually put on the rocket because it's just straight lines instead of a fancy fire logo thing.
Yeah, if you want to get the cadence up of getting them done quicker, it saves you time not having to paint a swoosh on all of them.
Gotcha. Hey, real quick, let's say thanks to just a couple more people. Mary Claire Moser joined the membership program, actually shortly after I mentioned the membership program, so we appreciate you there. Michael Chamberlain joined the red team as well. I see, now I want to say methane just so that I fit in. Methane, because I'm from South Texas, gifted a couple red team memberships, 5 of them, getting tossed out to the folks that are watching here. And then Mark Anderson with a bit of a super chat saying, I love having one stream for all the events tonight. We do try to make it super efficient, Mark. We don't want you to have to shop around. You can just come here to the NASA Spaceflight channel and hang out with us, and hopefully we're covering whatever's going on. But across the board, thank y'all for supporting what we do. We'll keep reading some of those out as they come through. Whether you're doing the membership program or super chats here on the channel, there's tips.nasaspaceflight.com if you don't want to give the network a cut and you want it to all primarily come to us. You can also go over to tips.nasaspaceflight.com. But anyway, yes, we appreciate y'all supporting what we do. Oh, look at this. Jacob Legat, sorry if I don't know the name. Your family's here from the UK on holiday at Disney. Hoping to see a couple launches. You were last out here in 1995 and managed to watch the shuttle Atlantis launch. Jacob, that really is a thing these days. Like, if you come down to Florida and you spend a week in Florida, the way the launches are going, there's a pretty high probability you'll see something, isn't there, Sawyer?
Absolutely. I mean, the launch cadence that they're at now is, as we were just talking about before, kind of mind-boggling. And when it comes to launches, again, even though they tend to go either northeast or due east lately, you can still see them as far as the west coast of Florida. I've seen people from Sarasota that have been able to see them. Where I normally watch them from, near my house, which is closer to the West Palm Beach area, you can see them far south into Fort Lauderdale, even towards Miami, north, Daytona Beach, all of those. So it's a much broader viewing area than you'd think it would be for launches. So Disney is absolutely within the viewing areas, and on cruise ships as well.
Yeah, speaking of viewing areas, I think the Symphony of the Seas here is also expanding the viewing area a little bit. We see this quite a bit. We're still almost 40 minutes away from launch, so this massive cruise ship leaving port, I want to yell at all the people on this side of the ship, like, no, go to the other side of the ship and look for the rocket launch later. You might have a ridiculously cool view of this launch if we get it going here in 38 minutes.
Well, the people on this side of the ship might be trying to see themselves on the NSF stream, you know, so it goes both ways.
Hey there, people in the little lighted walkway, like, wave if you can hear us. Probably not. I don't see any of them holding up their phone. But anyways, this is, I always wanted to do this. Like, wow. Thing's ridiculous.
And it's not even the largest one in port right now. The tie for the largest cruise ship ever is currently at Port Canaveral right now, the Star of the Seas.
Like the largest, or the tie for the largest cruise ship just ever, huh?
Correct. Of all time in the world is currently docked the other direction from the camera at Port Canaveral.
No kidding. I think I saw some cool drone shots from Jerry Pike when that thing was on its way in, because it is just a massive ship. But here, hopefully these folks, if they're seeing themselves on the stream, everybody wave at them. If not, I hope they know the right direction to look. Like, certainly the cruise ship has a PA, and the captain can come on and be like, report to the Lido deck for rocket launch viewing or whatever. I don't even know where their Lido deck is. So, in any event, I've always wanted to do that. I've always wanted to go on a cruise ship and watch a launch. Watch a booster come by. That'd be cool, too, like a recovered booster. Oh, I do see all the folks in chat who would not get on a cruise ship because of the close quarters there. I think my wife is in that boat. Or actually not on that boat. Sawyer, I'm trying.
That was good. And I can say, if you can legally get a boat to go up alongside a booster returning, it is indeed quite a cool experience. If not, you've seen we've done it with drones. You've seen we've done helicopter flights overhead from our Cape team here. But yeah, if you could just hop in a boat and get within a safe distance of it, it is such a cool sight to be in the water next to one of those.
Excellent. All right. Clock is going to continue counting down here, folks. I think we've got another new feed here. Yeah, look at this. So one of the folks that we do a lot of work with, a contributor here out at the Cape, this camera is from our friend Dr. WD40. He's an outdoor educational streamer over on Twitch, and he goes lives for a lot of these rocket launches. He's got a cool tracking setup with a lot of experience tracking the rockets. He also does like nature walks and bird watching and stuff like that. I'm not sure. I think he's just near the water. I don't know if he's on a boat in the water. Okay, good. He turned to like show that he's on the shore. But we will also hopefully have another view here from Dr. WD40. If you think that's something that you think is cool, you can always find him over on Twitch at twitch.tv/DrWD40. His little icon up in the upper right-hand corner has the channel handle and stuff like that. But massive thanks to Dr. WD40 for rolling out as well and giving us yet another view. This is part of it. I see chat like, oh, it's steady. This is not the tracking camera because he does like the bird watching and he used to do metal detecting on the beach and all sorts of IRL hiking, walking streams. That's like the little shoulder mounted IRL camera. Then he'll press a button on his equipment and switch to the tracking camera when it's time. So it is Schrodinger's cat, Dr. WD40. You have a really cool view there. Ryan, we've been getting some updates in the back channel on the current status. Do you want to fill us in on how Vulcan is feeling right now?
Yep, so they have been working on fueling the rocket over the past, over 2 hours now, approximately. But an update we just got from ULA is that they have been loading the automatic determination and dissemination of just updated steering terms, which abbreviates to adjust file, which is quite clever.
Of course it does.
And ULA, the essentially launch control, generate this file, and then, for lack of a better term, they upload it to Vulcan. I hope they don't use some of the cloud services I've used in the past, but they upload that file to Vulcan, and then the onboard computer in Vulcan essentially takes that data and it updates how it will steer itself through the atmosphere based on how the upper level winds are doing. So ULA and the range have been deploying some weather balloons throughout the day to kind of get an idea of how the winds, like really high up in the atmosphere, are pushing, and then, or rather blowing, should I say, for winds, and then the adjust file will then adjust the vehicle's trajectory to kind of course correct for those winds, right? So if there's one wind pushing really strong one way and another wind pushing really strong the other way at a different altitude, the file will then essentially tell the rocket, hey, you should point this way because it will make your trajectory more efficient. And of course, ULA wants the most efficient trajectory possible because it means they can, deploy the satellite in the most precise orbit possible. Troy Brenner loves posting those like target graphics on social media afterwards, saying, hey, we were within 2% of our perigee and our argument of something physics I don't really understand.
That's why it's a big bullseye for you to make it a nice graph. The update, I think,
it looks like we also we just got a brand new update saying that the upper level winds have been verified acceptable for launch at 8:56 Eastern Time, 0056 Universal Time. So that's good news for the weather.
There you go. That's what they were talking about, those final adjustments and releasing balloons and all that sort of stuff. All the things that happen behind the scenes that you might not know go on with these rocket launches to make sure that as they fly through the atmosphere, they're not getting sheared in half or flipped over or anything like that by huge wind limits. But it sounds like as of L-32 minutes, the upper level winds are within bounds for that launch in 32. And also checking back in over with the Ariane space rocket, we're now under 15 minutes away from that launch. And as long as we keep getting that feed, we will try to share that with y'all as well. We haven't forgotten. I saw some EU folks making sure in chat that we weren't going to forget that. Real quick,
We even put a clock up, so we definitely don't forget.
We did. That's like continuing to count down up there. That's what I was looking at, so I knew how to say what time it was. A couple things. I love seeing this, so I want to point it out. Richie Mason landed in Orlando at 15:30, dropped the bags in Kissimmee, and drove straight over to the Cape. It's the first ever launch in person for the family. Ryan, is this a thing? It says McDonald's first, and I guess then the launch when it happens.
How should I say this diplomatically? Let's just say that American food laws are slightly different to British food laws, and some food tastes better because of different ingredients which are not allowed in other jurisdictions. I'll put it that way.
We allow flavor here in the States, I guess. I love that the first
Well, you
thing
don't have
is
to put
like,
it that way, but
I just think it's accurate. I love you just dropped the bags off at Kissimmee and then came straight over to the cave. Hopefully this rocket gets off the ground here for you and the family tonight, Richie. We appreciate you being here. D-Low120 also said, go Vulcan and Centaur. ULA family here in North Alabama. D-Low, ULA family? And you're not watching the ULA stream? I won't tell anybody if you don't tell anybody. We appreciate you being here, hanging out with us on the broadcast. We have a little bit different vibe than those official streams over there, but we'll keep your secret safe. I definitely won't tell 4,913 people that you're here on the broadcast. There we've got
another weather update. They are go. So they were verified acceptable, and then 2 minutes later they were go. So there you go. Double confirmation from ULA.
That's what we like to see. Even on this little thing, it's not going to happen because I'm going to say it, but there's a little typing icon that pops up when allegedly the PAO is typing the next response. Do we believe that that's it's actually somebody typing in the little blog, or do you think that icon just pops up on occasion?
Well, there it is. Well, sometimes
there it is. Yeah.
Sometimes it pops up. And then it goes away.
It goes away.
Like, what were they saying? What were PAO saying that we can't actually know about? But I do think it's someone actually typing.
A lot of times they have things copied and pasted in another window of.
It went away. It went away.
We're going to tell this story.
I mean, it's good preparation to have the copy paste stuff. I don't think they're sitting there handcrafting each update as they type it out. It would make sense to have some repeatable work there, but. Sawyer, do you think it's for real? Do you think they're actually typing or actively pasting in, or do you think that little icon fakes this out sometimes?
I absolutely do. You can tell when they go away from the blog because the live flashing thing will just disappear and say last updated. So I think it's legitimately someone, when they have the tab open, it says live. When they don't, it doesn't. And when they type anything in the box, even if it's a preloaded, like copy, paste, but don't hit send, that they do it.
What, can't you make it like ding or boop or beep or something every time something new is posted?
Yes, it makes the old Windows
default.
XP ding sound.
The Windows XP ding sound when it updates.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
Look, Kevin's pointing to the bell icon. There you go. You can turn on the alerts.
even ULA wants you to like and subscribe and ring the bell. Apparently.
Oh my goodness.
Don't click on you can't click it. You have to go to the page yourself. It's a public webpage. Like ULA puts that webpage out. Anybody can bring the webpage up. But since you can't click on that one, you could click on ours. There's 202 likes on the stream right now. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet or turned on notifications, if that's what you want to do, you could do that here on YouTube because we hang out and we talk about rockets. We roll out cameras to rockets. We tell you our honest opinions on rockets. We have talk shows about rockets. We show you videos of rockets and slow-mos of rockets. And we have merch about rockets. Like, we're all about rockets here on the channel. So if you want to find the way back to us here, you know how to do it here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, look. Actually, That's a good segue. These engines. There's too many of them. There's only supposed to be 2, but there's 4 BE4 engines on the screen. We've got hoodies and t-shirts and mugs. What does this one say? Less pressure, more space. Do you buy that one, Ryan? Less pressure, more space?
Does that mean like less pressure on Jeff to get Tori's engines?
Let's step by step ferociously. I feel like there's a lot of pressure to deliver engines. Every now and then they show us a warehouse like we've got all these engines now. I don't know what the slogan really is there, but it's a cool engine design made from the actual engines. It's another way to support what we do. Wear a shirt like that, and if I ever see you in a Walmart or something, I'll be like, hey, whoa, that's a shirt. True story. I've seen, not that shirt specifically, but NSF shirts in a Walmart before, and I gave people a patch because I saw them wearing a shirt. So in any event, it's another way to support what we do. It's shop.nasaspaceflight.com. Thank you so much for the support, and if you see your little purchase pop up in the upper right-hand corner, you can leave us a little message we can read on the stream. Let's go back to questions, shall we, Ryan?
Yeah. Well, quickly, Titan 3C with a note saying they were definitely typing as there was a legitimate typo a few hours ago. So more evidence to the fact that there is a PAO on the other end of that live chat, literally typing in the updates as the little animation appears. But anyways, Mr. Vipitis is asking, what is the success rate of Vulcan's SRBs? And well, I feel like this is an interesting point to discuss because so far, ULA have launched 2 Vulcans with 2 SRBs each, which is a total of 4 SRBs. And as you might remember, last launch, one of the nozzles fell off, which means 1 in 4 SRBs has failed. This launch has 4 SRBs. So, statistically, judging by what's happened in the past, maybe there might be something exciting. Although ULA have said, and they have done a lot of work with their partner Northrop Grumman over in Utah, where they test the SRBs, they say they've been working on it and they found the issue and they've got it all wrapped up, and they even did this awesome like deep in-depth explainer video interview style with all the people involved about how they've been working through the problem to fix it. So at the moment the SRB rate is 3 and 4 have worked, or 3.5 because the last SRB kind of did work but like half the performance.
Is it 3 out of 4 or is it like 3.85 out of 4? I don't know exactly what the thrust underrun was due to the
payload got into orbit. That's all Tori Bruno cares about, right?
Corey Sawyer, how do you feel about that? That in the previous launch, we were there for it, and we had a nozzle that literally fell off. The nozzle failed, but the rest of the SRB didn't fail. It kept burning, and the rocket actually sent the payload to orbit. How do you feel about that? How do you classify that, Sawyer?
Besides an observation?
An observation.
I mean, that's the official term for it, was an observation of a liberation of the nozzle cone. But I remember watching it, and I was with someone who was like, hey, is it supposed to be that sparky? I'm like, oh, yeah, it's just the ice that's falling off the side, until I looked back at the photos and realized, no, that was...
I have a similar experience. Like, if I had a nickel for every time I saw a vehicle get most of the way to orbit missing a nozzle, well, I'd have 2 nickels.
Then you're still fine. Exactly.
It's odd that it's happened twice. I don't know. It did, like, the nozzle definitely was a failure, but it didn't make the mission completely fail. Like, the payload still made it. So 3 out of 4, like, clearly you don't just want your nozzles falling off willy-nilly. We saw a similar, I guess not similar, but we saw that test of that new Bole, that massive 5-segment SRB that they tested up in Utah. Jack was out there for that test, and there was an observation on that thing as well. A little bit different when that thing has the nozzle come off at the end. But now that we're under T-minus 5 minutes, let's check in with Ariane 6 here and see how the Director des Operations is doing. So,
by the way, before we do, if I could just point out for Vulcan, they are currently in the T-minus 7-minute hold, which is expected. It is absolutely expected that they are supposed to be in this hold. This will continue until they do the go-no-go poll, and then hopefully the clock will resume, which is what they currently have planned at the T-minus 7-minute mark for a liftoff at 8:56 p.m. Eastern.
Good deal. Ryan, tell us a little bit about this mission that we have in the Ariane 6 launch here.
Yeah, so we have the Ariane 6 in the 2 SRB. I have to be honest, I don't speak French, so I have no idea what they're talking about. But we have the Ariane 6 with the 2 SRB configuration, which is the medium configuration. They can do no SRBs, 2 SRBs, or 4 SRBs. Of course, as you can see on your screen there, 2 SRBs. And inside the payload fairing, there is a couple of payloads. One of them, the primary one, is METOP SG-A1, which stands for Meteorological Operational Second Generation. It's Europe's second-gen polar orbiting operational meteorological satellite system to replace the first gen. That's a lot of long words in not a lot of in a very short sentence. Built by Airbus, it's going to be operated by EUMETSAT. It's going into a sun synchronous orbit, weighs about 4 metric tons, just over 4 metric tons. So it's a good old meteorological satellite being launched by Arianespace. And it looks like we're getting some polling going on with the ULA side of things. They're polling the Denver technical team. ULA, of course, based out of Denver, Colorado. So fingers crossed we'll get that go, no-go poll soon with the ULA launch as well.
The PAO is typing, right? Oh, nope, not typing anymore. Can you imagine when the nozzle came off? I would love to have a screen recording of this when the nozzle came off. It's like typing, delete, 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 no typing, typing, delete, 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 no typing, like on and off and on and off like 15 times before they didn't say anything about it. Anyways, we are now under 3 minutes from the Ariane 6 launch over here. I do appreciate that they're showing us the rocket some. It's like the rule. You can even tell from our screen right now, like we have the rocket at the Cape on the screen 4 times, and then we also have the Ariane 6 launch there for you. Our rule, as much as possible, is to always show the rocket. It's fantastic when we can show the rocket multiple times. It's even cooler when we can show multiple rockets on different launch pads all at the same time. But sometimes we don't always get to see the rocket all of the time. We try here when we're in charge of the streams.
Well, Das, you say 4 Vulcans on screen, and technically for a moment there were 5, because the main engine on the Ariane 6 core stage is called the Vulcan 2.1, and Vulcan is the French word for Vulcan. The Vulcan engine has been around a lot longer than Vulcan has been around, so I'm going to say ULA actually stole our engine name, just saying. But yeah, so technically, right now, there are 5 Vulcans on screen, 4 of which are different from the other one. One of them's a rocket, one of them's an engine.
I was hoping you would work that in somewhere, Ryan. But we are a minute and a half away from the Ariane 6 launch there. We're going to keep our eyes peeled on... I guess, do I allow this? Because technically the rocket's on this... Well, what's this? T-minus a minute and 20 seconds? And you're going to show me mission control and not the rocket?
Come on, Arianespace, come on.
Put it in the side or something. Like, I'm invested, okay? But I want to see the rocket.
Attention pour moins d'une minute.
I understood one word. He said minute, which I think means minute.
Yeah. That would be my guess as well.
Attention for the final minute.
I didn't know Sawyer spoke French.
Sawyer? What?
What?
How did that happen?
This is another unexpected Sawyer flex.
I don't speak it well, but I can understand it enough.
Have you spoken French to an astronaut, though?
No, I spoke to Jeremy Hansen in English. I'm sorry. He's Canadian, but still.
Oh, all right. There's 30 seconds on Ariane 6. Got some nose art there. Wait, I feel like the Europeans should talk about this launch. Ryan, go.
Yeah, well, we've got some nose art
leave it
there.
To you.
We've got some wonderful stickers on the fairing. Keep an eye.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5.
There goes the Vulcan. Keep an eye for the SRBs. And there she goes.
Nice.
Normal propulsion.
Décollage, of course, famously being the French word for launch or departure or something like that.
Yeah, allumage is ignition and décollage is liftoff.
Nice.
Looks like we've got some Vandenberg conditions in the jungle here.
It's quite
Propulsion nominal.
humid down there.
Yeah, I mean, this is 5 degrees.
Trajectory
This is
nominal.
5 degrees north, so it's pretty much as closest to the. I think this might be the closest equatorial to the equator launch site there is. And look at those. Those are the 2 SRBs burning there. That's a beautiful shot.
Again, folks, the rocket you see flying is not the ULA launch here. That is coming out of French Guiana down in South America. That's that Ariane 6 launch that was scheduled for just over 15 minutes before the Vulcan launch here at the Cape.
Although it has a Vulcan engine, so there is a Vulcan launching. It is the wrong Vulcan.
It's the right Vulcan for this rocket.
The right Vulcan for Ariane 6.
There you go. And this is coming up on SRB separation in a couple minutes here.
Yeah, fingers crossed those should shut down and peel away nicely. We have seen before some onboard views, fingers crossed, from Ariane Space, so fingers crossed we get those onboard views of the core stage, especially core stage separation from the onboard views. It looks so cool. It's unfortunate that the core stage doesn't come back to land, just saying, but it does look pretty nonetheless.
Now, this launch...
I'm now being informed there's no onboards for this mission. That's a shame.
Oh, really? Hey, the interesting thing here is this launch is going very north, right? It is coming out of South America and it's going to the north. I don't know. I think it would be highly unlikely you could see this from mainland Florida. Maybe if you're lucky enough to be over there in the Bahamas somewhere, you have a possibility of seeing this. But I think this is, I saw some questions in chat, probably just out of your viewing range, especially once these SRBs go off. You're just going to have those two. There you go.
Beautiful.
Booster separation.
Nice.
Nominal propulsion.
Wonderful.
So you get those 4 engines there, right, Ryan?
Yeah, we have the Vulcan 2.1 now burning on the core stage. The trajectory for this mission is northwest. It's going to sun synchronous orbit. So it's a kind of, if you imagine the world in your head, it's going. I know this isn't an easy thing to do, but it's going from French Guiana and essentially aiming towards Newfoundland in Canada, which means if you're in Bermuda, keep an eye out in a couple minutes' time with this wonderful 3D animation. However, anywhere else in the Americas, you're going to be pretty much too far west to be able to see anything, unfortunately.
It's way out there, and even though it is going north, maybe Newfoundland, right, all the way up there, but unlikely that you'll be able to see this and get a visual acquisition twofer if you're over there on the east coast of Florida looking for launches tonight.
I think it's been nominal so far.
Yeah.
And trajectory. Propulsion and trajectory. Trajectoire and propulsion.
Thank you, Sawyer.
Thanks, Sawyer.
De rien.
This worked out quite well that Sawyer was here to translate for us.
And there go the fairings.
Yeah, that was what that call out was.
See that beautiful satellite in the 3D animation. I'm not sure if we know why they can't do any onboard views, but anyways.
I wonder what they have in the background of their animation there. Are those cities on the coast, it looks like?
I think that's the moonlight reflecting in the Atlantic Ocean, and then you can see the city, really, in French Guiana, which is Cayenne off the top of my head. I apologize. I know the spaceport is at Kourou, but I forgot what the capital city of French Guiana is. It's Cayenne. Yes, it is Cayenne.
This layout is good because you got some mission control. Look at everybody watching with bated breath in mission control. And then you also have room to show, well, I guess the animation of the rocket, but whatever. We
have telemetry.
Yeah, I love
we
telemetry.
Have live telemetry. Yeah. So if you don't know, the green line in that top right box, in the bottom right box, in the top right box of the bottom right box, that green line there is where they want to be flying the rocket, and then the yellow X and the yellow line is where they are flying the rocket. So right now, everything is down the middle.
Sort of down it's like the predicted, the nominal trajectory, and then the actual trajectory.
Exactly. That
it's showing you there in the upper right-hand corner of there's the mid right-hand side of our multi-box layout here. Yeah, there you go. It's actually another cool thing in the app. Like I'm in the Next Spaceflight app because a new feature we recently added is all of the stages, like the countdown for all the different parts of the flight, and you can actually expend that out, and you can see like, in this amount of time it's supposed to do this, and this amount of time it's supposed to do this, right up there at the top if you go to the app. So I think we'll work on trying to get some of that stuff here on the streams as well, so we can show the stages and timings and stuff.
And we have just been informed from ULA that all four cryogenic tanks, of course, each stage has a liquid oxygen tank, the core stage has a liquid methane tank, and the upper stage, the Centaur 5, has a liquid hydrogen tank. All four of those stages are now topping off to flight level, which of course will give ULA a fully fueled rocket for launch.
Hey, Ariane, you have the same image in both your PIP and the main. You got the...
Oh.
It happens on Starbase Live or Space Coast Live or whatever all the time. It's like, double. You got the same thing twice.
Kevin, fix it. Oh, wait, that's not your stream.
Kevin says that happens. He's done that a few times today. Oh. We're going to hang in here with this for just a couple more minutes, folks, but we are rapidly approaching T-minus 10 minutes from the launch going out of the Cape. There, we're starting to see some vapors.
Technically, we already passed T-minus 10 minutes because ULA have been in a fixed hold around T-minus 4 minutes. So L-minus 10. I mean, I'm being pedantic, but there is a distinct difference.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that.
But it does mean we have that go no go poll coming up in about a minute's time. Well, it's usually around L-minus 10 plus or minus a few seconds. But ULA, something SpaceX doesn't do, they do that audible go or no go poll, which is always it's the one thing that gets you fired up for a rocket launch, the go no go poll. So it's always great to hear that.
Work on seeing if we can't get that piped over as well. It's always hit or miss whether or not we can get that, but we'll see what we can do. The little yellow line is still going along the green line there. Thank you for joining our riveting technical commentary here this evening. But we're going to hop away from that in just a second. Are we going to make it all the way till we get to Bico? Let's see here. How far away from Bico are we? 7 minutes. I don't even think they call it Bico.
There we go.
The launch conductor coordinates the launch team during countdown, similar to a symphony conductor coordinating an orchestra. 30 engineers are pulled to confirm the rocket is ready to proceed. This is the final status check for all Vulcan vehicle systems, ground systems, the payload, the U.S. Space and the U.S. Space Force Eastern Range. Let's listen into Scott as he performs the poll.
Like we said, we're working on getting it piped in.
Status check to proceed with terminal count. Vulcan systems, propulsion.
Go.
Hydraulics.
Go.
Pneumatics. Go. LNG.
Go.
LO2. Go. Water. Go. Centaur systems, propulsion. Go. Pneumatics. Go. LO2. Go. LH2.
Go.
House gas. Go. Electrical systems airborne. Go. Ground. Go. Facility. Go. RFFTS. Go. Flight control. Go. GCQ.
Go.
Op support. Go. Com. Go. Umbilicals. Go. Environmental control systems.
Go.
Redline monitor. Go. Quality.
Go.
Op safety manager.
Go.
ULA safety officer.
Go.
Vehicle system engineer.
Go.
Anomaly chief.
Go.
Range and weather.
Go.
Launch director.
Clear to proceed.
Mission director.
This is the mission director. You have permission to launch.
Proceeding with the count. ALC, verify T0 is set for 0056 Zulu.
Verified.
ABE, issue
Polling is
MR.
complete and the team is go for launch. From now until liftoff, you'll hear launch conductor Scott Barney and the team performing the final steps in the countdown procedure. Several critical...
I was going to say, anybody seen the rocket recently? But here it is on the screen now. Folks, you heard it. They were go all the way down the list. Quite the list. Remember, every one of those people you heard say go there has a team behind them. There's so many people involved in getting these rockets off the ground. And so every single voice you heard was the representative of a team of systems. The folks watching the weather, the folks watching the temperatures of the propellant, the folks watching the range, all of the different things that have to come together to make one of these rockets launch. You hear from them during those polls. But with ULA getting a whole set of goals? Either way, you got it. And the launch director saying they were go for launch. We are now less than 8 minutes away from Vulcan taking off from the pad out here at Slick 41 for United Launch Alliance. I must say, it was like slightly poetic there for a second. Hey, ULA. It was slightly poetic because we had the ULA pole going, but we could still hear the French pole in the background slightly. What a time to be alive.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the pre-game was the game. I mean, this was brilliant. We had the Ariane launch, and now we're going to get the Vulcan launch, barely 15 minutes later. So this is a very exciting evening to be a space nerd, let's put it that way.
It was quite the cola here, right? Because you've got a rocket that's crossing the range, and then another rocket that's going to kind of cross behind it here. When we say cola, we talk about collusion on launch avoidance, right? Collusion on launch avoidance?
1, mark.
Or we talk about Mark. But here, you don't
The
see
countdown
this
clock
very
has
often,
resumed, and we are...
where you've got a rocket crossing in front of another rocket. That is definitely cool for us to be able to experience and share with y'all here tonight. Every now and then, we want to catch some of those call-outs, but also they do their commentary, we do our commentary, so you may hear it come in and out a little bit. All good. Where are we at stream-wise? 6 minutes, 30 seconds before launch. 12,000 nerds hanging out with us? That's a couple, Ryan.
That's a lot of nerds who have come to see a Vulcan. Those weren't Vulcan. This is Vulcan. A lot of nerds who have come to see a Vulcan launch this evening, and it's looking pretty dark. But Vulcan, as Toy Bruno likes to say, is a high-energy rocket that launches, pretty high with the core stage. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed for the jellyfish, even if physics says it won't happen. I'm keeping my fingers crossed nonetheless.
Yeah. Hey, there's like a little bit of light in the sky there in the background. It's probably not bright enough to really illuminate that plume. I think we're going to stay in the shadow of the Earth the entire time. But one way to find out, we'll watch this launch. Sounds like everything was counting down just fine as we approach T-minus 5.5 minutes. Sawyer, I know you're going to want to go here in a bit to focus on the field. Any words before we let you focus on experiencing this thing in person?
No, I mean, it's nice that the holy meteor that just shot across the sky here. That was about 5 seconds long. Sorry about that. It was a little distracting, but everything otherwise looks great here. Beautiful clear skies. Obviously, we're seeing Perseids early. Let's go Vulcan.
Good deal. Have a great launch out there, Sawyer. We'll check back in with you after the launch, and hopefully it doesn't sound like you got carried off by mosquitoes when the sun went down. Again, folks, we've got an entire team out there. That was Sawyer Rosenstein on the causeway. With him, Julia Bergeron's out there, Jerry Pike's out there, D. Wise is out there, and then over at the press site, we've got Max as well. The entire Cape team are standing by with less than 5 minutes to go.
Just got an update from ULA. They are now going to start wrapping up, topping off the liquid methane and liquid oxygen on that core stage. So the fuel is all nice and frosty. Should be good to go in 4.5 minutes' time.
Excellent. By the way, Max's last name is not as well. Max's last name is Evans. I said everybody else's name, and I said Max as well. But the entire team rolling out to do this. Also, there's quite a few people here that are gifting memberships, and there's a couple merch things, people picking up stuff from the store. I'm going to put a pause on those. At T-minus 4 minutes, we're not going to do those shout-outs right now, but I will get to you after the launch. But I haven't forgot about you. Thank you so much for supporting our team and making it so that we're able to go out there and share this stuff with y'all. How are we doing? It's 1.6 thousand likes, 13,770 people hanging out with us. Less than 4 minutes to go. Everything looking good. How you feeling, Ryan?
I'm feeling good. We've got ULA now saying that the pressurization has begun on the Centaur 5 upper stage, which means they're now getting those tanks fully prepped for flight. That just helps to kind of squeeze out the propellant as the vehicle ascends through the atmosphere. Of course, there's no gravity in space, right? You don't experience gravity when you get into orbit, so you need that pressure to help squeeze the propellant out through those RL-10 engines.
I mean, you corrected me earlier, so can I just say there is gravity in space?
You don't feel it. You're going so fast. It's when you're in space, you're having so much fun. Gravity just doesn't matter.
That's why you're weightless. You're having so much fun that you don't notice
Exactly.
the gravity being there. I think is scientifically, technically how that works. Folks, coming up on 3 minutes. Let's do it one more time. We talked about it earlier, but are y'all ready for this launch? We should poll chat and ask if you are go. Maybe one more time, check in, let us know where you're watching from, and if you think you're going to be able to see this thing tonight. I will read a couple of them out, but any way you slice it, there you go. Simon S. says chat is go. Methane Man, chats go. Austin Skiven says chats go. Timothy Wood, go for launch. Nice. People from all over this. People from Europe. Look at that. Germany's in there. We've got Fargo, North Dakota. I don't think you're going to see the launch, but you can watch it right here on the stream. Kansas is in there. Chicago, northeastern Pennsylvania. Jacksonville's in there as well. What else do we have? Winter Haven. A lot of Floridas. There's an Arkansas. Who else? Some more Germanys, the Virginias. Quite a few from the States. Bahamas. A little jealous of the Bahamas there. Yeah, right? Plus, also, folks, if you catch something and you're on social, you're on X, or you're on any of the other social platforms, we're on all the social platforms. Like, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. If you are also on those platforms and you catch something, tag us. Like, we're NASA Spaceflight on X, NASA Spaceflight Official. Like, we have all the different social accounts. If you're not following us, follow us over on those places. But we love to reshare things you catch.
135.
If you've got a cell phone and you get this thing
90
going
seconds.
or something.
The launch vehicle, ground systems, payload.
I really tried to get that in before the 90-second count, but I talked too much. Just tag us so that we can help share anything you capture from the launch this evening. It's less than 90 seconds now. I really did try, Ryan. I tried to beat him.
Vulcan, everything, the flight software, and they're moving the electricals all to internal batteries and things like that. So everything's getting ready. Vulcan is basically powering itself. The auto sequence has started there on the rocket side of things 1 minute to go now for USSF-106. And the range is green as well. That's the thing that's just come in now. Everyone's go.
Excellent. It's looking great out there, folks. 50 seconds. Of course, we talk a lot. Remember, it's going to take a little bit of time for the sound to get to our microphones. So what you're going to see it get bright. You're going to see this rocket start to lift off, we hope. And then it's going to be quiet, because that sound's coming across the water here to our microphones. But it'll start to come in, it'll start to rumble, you'll start to hear it, and we will be quiet so that you can hear the roar of this thing taken off the pad. 20 seconds coming up now.
Go Centaur.
Go SF-106.
15. 10.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. We have ignition. 1. And liftoff of United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket carrying USSF-106 for the United States Space Force, continuing ULA's soaring legacy in national security space launch with the innovative Vulcan rocket.
Thrust. Half mile in altitude. Conclude our pitch and yaw program. Body rest turn to 0. Fuse on to closed loop control. And we've completed our roll program. 3 miles in altitude, half mile downrange. And Mach 1, Vulcan is supersonic. Vehicle's traveling at 1,500 miles per hour, right down the center of the range track.
There was a VAB squeal in there.
I
Max Q,
didn't know
maximum
Vulcan
dynamic
could
pressure.
do that.
Yeah.
Engine parameters continue to look good. Hydraulics good.
Just a beautiful nighttime launch here. You can actually see some of the. You can see
5
it there,
miles
some
downrange.
of the.
You are hearing Daniel
Sparks coming
Brunson
off of the
providing
VAB
launch
exhaust.
vehicle ascent data.
Look at that.
Look,
The
it goes through
rocket-
behind the plume.
Yeah, you could see the sparks coming off this side of it because it was almost like
Good indication
occluded
of
by the
SRB burnout.
plume.
Preparing for SRB jettison.
Wow.
BE4s continue to burn nominally.
And you can see the blue plume from the BE4s interacting with the SRB plume.
Look
Good indication
at
of SRB
this.
separation.
There they go.
BE4 is entering its first throttle bucket. And
We've got
guidance
4 of them.
enabled. We've been able to close loop steering.
4
At this
SRBs.
point,
We
Vulcan
just heard
is now half
Confirmation of solid rocket booster jettison. These 4 motors augmented the thrust of the main vehicle engines at liftoff, giving the
ULA is talking. We're excited. Everybody's excited. Did y'all see that thing jump off the pad? That rocket absolutely tore off the pad, the 2 BE4s, the 4 SRBs. That thing got out of Dodge. Look at the rate. Ryan, look at it.
You can see the stars passing behind the... Oh my, this shot is just beautiful. Methane engines, especially the BE4, it's so blue. It's lighting up the sky with its blue exhaust. It's so beautiful.
Everything else is, you get the RP-1 rockets, and they're the orange plumes. You get the orange glow. These methane engines are blue. Sorry, these liquid natural gas engines are blue. Look at the glow in the clouds, even the little thin clouds that it's glowing through. That is amazing.
And you can see the star. Shout out if anyone in chat can figure out what stars these are.
I can't help with that.
Need some astronomers in chat. But yeah, everything looks good. It's straight down the middle. And I mean, this is just, I am flabbergasted by how beautiful this thing is. And we got a VAB squeal from a Vulcan. I didn't know that was physically possible.
Oh, we are going to get a little bit of the animations from ULA there. I think we've still got some cameras as well tracking this thing going down range, so we'll switch you back and forth. Look, y'all, we are true space nerds. We get excited about these rockets, and it is almost impossible for us to not talk over mission control. We try so hard, but then you see it occluded behind the plume, and you see the blue methane like lighting up the sky, and we can't help ourselves. It's because we're actual space fans. We're not here to try and we're popular and we will talk. No, we're actual space fans who just cannot get enough of watching these things launch. I know every now and then we run into mission control a little bit. We can't help it. I want to say we're sorry, but I don't know if we can apologize for who we are. So let's get a quick update on how it's doing, Ryan. Can you give us some of the status call-outs here?
I don't know if this is just the altitude and the atmospheric effects causing things, or is that a little bit of a jellyfish that's going on with the engines there? We can see a little bit of the plume from the two BE4s at the aft end of that core stage there. Maybe it's the BE4s igniting their own exhaust, or is that a little bit of a jellyfish going on? It's definitely something I haven't seen before.
It's not as blue as I would expect.
It's like
got a little
orange.
bit more color to it. And is it just a very thin amount of exhaust, and it is catching some of that upper atmosphere scattering or something? I don't know. Look at the waves coming out, though.
And we're coming up on booster engine cutoff very shortly. They're throttling down to make sure they don't... There we go. There's BECO throttling down. Make sure they don't overdo the G limiter. And we should see the RL-10 engines, there they are, igniting pretty soon.
Look at that. We've got an onboard. Ryan, look at the limb of the Earth in the background.
Oh my goodness me. That is absolutely... Well, ULA, come on.
What
on. That was a beautiful shot. Why are we looking at mission control?
I don't know.
ULA, tut.
I get it if the feed like froze or pixelated or something. Like, it happens on those onboard feeds sometimes. But, God, we're sitting there talking about it. Maybe there was a little bit of upper atmosphere light there, because you could definitely see the atmosphere glowing around the edge of the Earth. I don't think it was direct sunlight, right? But maybe there was a little scattering in that upper atmosphere that was helping illuminate that plume a little bit, huh?
We also have a 90-ish% moon, so maybe that has something else playing into it there as well with the moonlight, perhaps on the limb of the Earth. I'm not sure. I'm not going to say that definitively, but I mean, sunset was only an hour ago, so that was definitely some remnants of the sunlight there scattering through the atmosphere.
Excellent. We've got some folks checking in chat. Some folks saying they saw a dot from Georgia. And check it in on the Space Coast. Do you still see it in the sky? If you do, just keep watching it. Did y'all see it? I imagine you saw it take off if you were nearby Cocoa Beach, Titusville, that sort of stuff. But check in. And remember, if you're over on the socials, tag us. And if we see some cool shots that y'all captured, we'll share them around. We'll just get it in front of some more people.
RL-10s continuing to perform as normal, and with those 4 SRBs, Vulcan is now, this configuration at least, technically the most powerful rocket to ever launch from Space Launch Complex 41. So we set a world record today. Well, a pad record rather. Pad record.
By the way, if you're wondering if we saw it on the Space Coast, I did.
Did you see it, Sawyer? Did you? Really?
I think I did. I don't know. I might have seen it.
Did you have to put on your sunglasses? How was it there in person? Let's check in with Sawyer. You were, what, 3-4 miles away?
It's about 3.5-ish miles away, yeah.
3.5-ish. How was it?
It's a spectacular rocket. I mean, the sound that it puts out, especially as you really get higher up, the sound got that much stronger. And I mean, we still heard it probably about 4 minutes into flight. You could still hear the rumble from it. The pad right now is just smoke all over the place. And of course, the best is once the SRBs separate, it is such a beautiful blue glow from those BE4 engines and the methane. That is quite a sight.
Good deal. Sawyer and the rest of the crew out there, thank y'all so much for rolling out to catch those. I can't even say which track was which, but so many of the folks operating the cameras out tonight, keeping it on the rocket to give us something to show y'all.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like ULA isn't going to be able to be showing stage 2. So, yeah, we're going to have to look at the VAB until we get confirmation of that cutoff.
Yeah, that is one of the things with the national security payloads. A lot of times we do not have the footage. It's not going to come in. And also, so everybody knows, we do have special rules on how we can and can't use our cameras out there. So we will continue to stand by and share a couple of updates directly from United Launch Alliance with y'all about the track or about the launch here this evening. Let me say thank you real quick here. While we go through this, Robert got something from the shop, said, love everything y'all do and all, well, Robert actually said, love everything you guys do, but I translate that into South Texan. Love everything you guys do and all the hard work you put into the streams. Keep it up. Can't wait for this one to be my new coffee cup at work. Good deal. Sounds like Robert got a coffee cup from the shop there. Willem said, let's get this done. Land this ship safely. I think they're putting the ship into orbit, or maybe you were talking about the cruise ship that went out. But either way, William, we appreciate the support. Lindsay said, late night streams are secretly my favorite. Go NSF, great stream tonight. P.S. These hats are cool if I do say so myself. Sounds like Lindsay picked up a hat from the shop. Oh, there's one of those TPS style inspired cases as well. We just put those in the shop a couple days ago. Tony Lee, appreciate the support. Rankley says a stubby nozzle wouldn't have fallen off. It just stubbified itself. It's like a self-stubbying nozzle. Tony Lee was a Padrat member, or became a Padrat member. Also gifted a Red Team membership, so got one for yourself and for other people. Snot Garden gifted 5 Red Team memberships. And Daniel Hogbin gifted 5 as well. We've got the Shrew88 came through with some curly L's and said, what a sweet birthday present for me, seeing 2 rocket launches in the space of 15 minutes on NSF. You guys rock. Shrew88, thank you for the support. A little weird. You don't have to give us money on your birthday, but we appreciate it either way. We've got... I'd rather be flying an X-Wing. I'll allow it. In the time it took Blue Origin to clear the tower, ULA was already supersonic. If anybody gets the reference on that Blue Origin launch that had the lowish looking thrust weight that seemed to crawl off the launch pad months ago, but totally the opposite here when we put those SRBs on Vulcan. That thing tore off the pad. Shazbert, sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was just going to say, like, that was similar to Atlas in the 5 SRB configuration. Like, whenever they launch a 6 SRB Vulcan, that's going to be quite something leaving the pad. I'm not sure anyone will be prepared for how quickly that they will leave the pad. That was just incredible.
Kidding. Let's see here. Cutting around to a couple different views. There's that cruise ship making steam. I guess technically we can't say that anymore, but leaving Port Canaveral, that's the jetty. You see that jetty in front of the cruise ship? Producing vapor or particulate or something. You can watch launches. Do you see the people standing on that jetty? That is a place that you could go. There's like a parking fee to get out there, but you can go and watch launches from there. And honestly, if there's ever an RTLS, like a Falcon 9 that's coming back to land again, that is one of the best places to watch it from because it just comes in out of the water and lands, I say right next to you. It really feels like it. But in any event, Let's see here. I got just a couple more to say thank you to. Modern became a Capcom member. Shazbert Toddbot says Propulsion continues to be nominal. Appreciate you, Shazbert. I recognize that name quite a bit. Jeremy Elwood said, I miss living in Titusville for this reason. Like, you have sort of maybe three classes of people. You have people who love seeing the rocket launches. You have people that grumble, like, waking me up or something, right? They grumble about the rocket launches. You probably have people who don't know. Hopefully, most of the people down there on the Space Coast love seeing the rocket launches. Jeremy Elwood also says, Mom worked fluid systems, loved close-up launches. It really is a thing, Jeremy. Like, you feel it. You feel the vibrations from the rocket taking off if you can get within a couple miles of it. It's something you experience. It's not just something you watch. And lastly here, we've got Gary with super NSF coverage as usual. We appreciate you, Gary. Thank you so much for hanging out. How we doing, Ryan?
Doing pretty good. That was a very pretty launch. I mean,
really was.
I can't wait for these replays. Honestly, with the different angles we had, with the SRB jettison, with the plume going up. I mean, credit to Max and D. They were tracking that second stage longer than the official coverage was live. They were doing an awesome job following that second stage as it went over the horizon. That was just beautiful.
That's how we roll. Like, their coverage ended, and we were still tracking the rocket going downrange. Welcome to NSF, right? Hey, Sausage Man, no, you're here. I see you up in the list. I did not miss you. I apologize. I didn't read you off, but you are still here in the list. You asked a question with some Australian bucks, it looks like. Do you think I could maybe see this orbiting or traveling from South Australia, just like I can see the ISS? Also, can you say hi to your cat, Lucy? Two things there. Hi, Cat Lucy. I don't mind saying hi to your cat, Lucy. But here, I don't have the full trajectory. You're normally not going to see it if it's just coasting, right? You can see some things in orbit. You can see if an engine is still firing. Sometimes you can see stages passivating or venting, where you get a big a cloud of plume that's being shown sunlight on, being hit by sunlight, illuminated by sunlight, right? Is this going to pass over South Australia? I don't have that full trajectory up here. I don't know if anybody else in the back channel can help me out. Does this have a chance of
considering
passing?
The destination orbit for the primary payload, as ULA like to call it, that's geosynchronous, which essentially means it's going to be pretty much over the equator. So Australia infamously is not over the equator. So I would hazard that would be unlikely that you would be able to see this payload in particular. But even if it was passing over Australia, it's going to be one of those satellites which is like compared to the International Space Station, which is the size of a football field. It's going to be much smaller than that, so it'd be really faint. Even if you were trying to spot it, you need to make sure the lighting conditions were exactly right, so you would be able to see it. I mean, you can see Starlink satellites, but yeah, it all depends on lighting conditions and where you are and where the satellite is and time of day. The list goes on. And there are lots of good websites to help you find things like that.
It is difficult during the day, but I think it's even more difficult since Australia is not on the equator, so not underneath the orbit itself there.
Yeah, two knocks against that one, unfortunately.
Also, something that we've talked about quite frequently, like sometimes we have these trajectories, and next spaceflight will have the trajectories sometimes. And so making something that would alert you if a rocket's going over you, like, could I go outside and see this? A lot of different math goes into it, but sort of a spotting guide or spotting assistance is an idea we've kicked around on next spaceflight as something we could provide. I'm going to be a bad host really quickly, and I'm going to ask if we can't get some of these views from Starbase, please. Like, I'm not sure if the host can bring in some of these sunset shots that we have of the test out at Starbase, but while I put the producers on the spot with Starbase views, the folks out in the field that were on the Space Force side of things, they're going to need to pack up the stuff. Sawyer, I think you need to get out of Dodge, don't you?
I do. Unfortunately, this was an absolutely beautiful launch. I'll have some photos for you shortly in the back channel and a bunch for Membies and on X and all the socials, so check those out. But thank you for having me on commentary. Boy, Vulcan is a beautiful rocket.
Good deal. Sawyer, y'all drive safe. Get on out of the Space Force side over there. Say thank you to the entire team. And we do appreciate y'all rolling out and braving the mosquitoes for us out there. So in the middle of the
Our pleasure.
view, good deal. Thank you, Sawyer. In the middle of the view, like you never know if he's already disconnected or if we're going to hear back from him again. But in the middle of the view, that is a live shot from Starbase. That is Ship 37, the starship that's slated for the next flight, Flight 10. That August, Ryan.
I mean, if they launched it right now, it would be a wonderful jellyfish. Just saying.
It'd be a wonderful jellyfish. I don't think they put enough propellant in it to actually get this
suborbital hop for a jellyfish. I don't know if that will work. I don't know if it gets high enough.
It's also a disconnect. It's not a quick disconnect that this thing is jerry-rigged to the pad with right now. You can actually see the temporary lines on the side.
You know, the flexible hoses versus 6 Raptor engines. I have to be honest. I'm not a betting man, but my money would be on the 6 Raptor engines. Just saying.
You think it would any disconnect is a quick disconnect if you use enough rocket engines.
And it would be quick.
In any event, we do have these other live views here as well. We'll keep you up to date on what's going on with Starship and Flight 10. Remember, if you want to get back to the channel here, you know how to do it. You can subscribe to the channel. You can join the member program. You can turn on notifications. You can follow us on the socials. Y'all know how to find us again if you want to hang out with us again in the future. For those of you who don't want to hang out with us again, you don't have to do that either. If you go to Next Space Flight, there'll be a link to official broadcasts. If you prefer that commentary, of course, you could go watch that. Sure, go for it. All the different ways that we cover what's going on, our social media accounts, and the Next Spaceflight app are great ways to keep up with what's happening in spaceflight. That's not that. No, there's 2 of those port cranes now. They had that other big port crane that got delivered, didn't they?
Yeah, if only we were making a video like right now about everything that was going on at the Space Coast, including an update on Port Canaveral. And what if, hear me out here, Das, what if all the photographers got in a helicopter and then flew over the different things that we were commentating on? Think about it.
That's not a helicopter. That's a T-shirt. I'm glad you picked up on what I was putting down there. We do flyovers out at the Cape, and we are currently working on a video where we'll talk about all of the stuff that's been happening. How can you make it so that we are able to continue to rent a helicopter and do the flyovers? Well, you can buy a BE4 T-shirt from us or whatever. We do it. We try to fly on a regular basis so that we can keep you up to date with aerial views of all the different options or all the different work that's happening out at the pads. We have an entire collection of these shirts, the Thrust collection with a bunch of different rocket engines, Merlins, RS-25s if you're a shuttle fan. We've got the BE4s from tonight's launch, of course. You can get them on stickers and stuff like that too, but you don't have to. Just showing up on the stream and hanging out with us, asking questions, answering where are you watching from, and whenever we ask where you're watching from, or even just like sharing it with your friends and family, like send it to your mom and be like, oh my gosh, look at this. Do you see that cloud? That's the rocket plume, and it's the rocket is behind the plume. Send it to your family, make your kids watch, whatever, right? Start them early. However you are a member of this community, on all the different ways that you can contribute to what we do, just showing up for the streams and giving us a little thumbs up and being here as part of it is something that we can use to keep this going. I think we've got some replays. It says real big on the screen, replays.
Looking over from the port here, it's always great to see that. Unfortunately, you can kind of work out the SRB plume a teeny bit by the engines, but it's much easier in the daytime. These shots are always brilliant in the daytime. You see the SRB.
That's the original fleet camera.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. That camera there is the original fleet camera that we put out there. It's at a Rusty's Seafood and Oyster Bar. The owner of Rusty's is fantastic. He lets us put the camera there, and every now and then we're like, hey, if you go to Port Canaveral, you can see rockets. So big thanks to Rusty's for letting us put that camera out.
I think this is Wade's shot there from over the water.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
There's the plume.
That is just awesome.
Getting that exposure
so
down
quickly.
Yeah. It really did leap off the pad. Like it just jumped off the pad.
And you can see the sparks as well falling from the SRBs.
Yeah. Now this is a tough track. WD-40 does this manually, like hand on a tripod, the long lens, and keeps this rocket in frame manually, no fancy computer systems or anything like that. I think a lot of people don't understand how tough that is. I've been out there and tracked quite a few launches myself, and to keep the rocket in the frame, much less smooth, is super tough to do. So massive thanks for WD-40 from rolling out there and piping this feed over to us and his Twitch stream. This is like the director's cut now. Wait, what?
Briefly, first of all, for those of you who are unaware, playing guy here, one of the NASA WB-57s, which is those really high altitude observation aircraft. We've seen them out at Starship launches all the time. We see them out at the Dragon recoveries all the time. They actually had one out observing this Vulcan launch. Unfortunately, considering this is a classified launch, I am highly doubtful we'll actually ever get to see that imagery, but I'm sure the pilots had a wonderful time nonetheless. And a little personal anecdote from me is I was fortunate enough nearly 2 years ago now to go out to the Cape to watch the Psyche launch, the Falcon Heavy, and that was in the morning. And then later in the evening, there was a Starlink launch on a Falcon 9. So I was like, okay, I'll go out and I'll try to film it. One rookie error is I accidentally forgot the release plate for the tripod at home, so I didn't actually have a tripod to film the vehicle with. So I was balancing this camera with, long lens, trying to point at the rocket. Tracking a rocket is really, really, really hard. Nice file system there, Kevin.
Are we saving our
tracking
files?
a rocket? Tracking a rocket is really, really, really hard. And I looked back at the recording, and the rocket is like this teeny little dot in the distance, and it's just jiggling around like crazy because the shutter speed was completely wrong or whatever. But, rookie first go at it. But yeah, what our field team does on a nearly daily basis nowadays is just incredible work. So, of course, thank you to their expertise and, of course, all of your guys' support that goes into making it possible. Because it's not easy. It's not easy.
Click the line on the screen here. You can see the WB-57 doesn't actually fly out of Florida. It's coming all the way over from Houston. I think they're based in Ellington Field, which is just on the outskirts of Houston there. And it took off and made that trek all the way over there, over Florida, ran its racetrack pattern out there in the Atlantic, and is headed home now. Now, is it going all the way back to Ellington or not? I don't know.
I think so. I think it has to go all the way back to Ellington because that's their operating base. And I mean, these aircraft is kind of like an adapted old school bomber that was designed to fly high altitude for a really long distance. So these are high endurance, high altitude aircraft, and they can fly really far, in as well as being able to fly really high, of course.
No.
Good deal. We're gonna keep showing y'all some replays. I mean, heck, we recorded them. We might as well show them to you. This is another view from the port here. That's Fleet Cam 1 again, it looks like. It illustrates something that a lot of people don't really understand about rocket launches. When you get a nighttime rocket launch, it's like all of a sudden humanity has installed a small sun that's rising very quickly. You can see your shadow. It lights everything up like there's a spotlight glowing on you. Or glowing on you. Spotlights don't glow, they shine. But if you're ever there, if you ever get the opportunity to experience a rocket launch and it's a nighttime rocket launch, look at the thing go, but take a second to glance around and see how bright everything around you is. It's not as bright as the sun, right? That's why I said it's a miniature sun. Most of the time, it definitely feels a lot brighter than the moon, especially as you get closer here in the port and over at the Cape, Titusville, that sort of stuff. You can see really clear, distinct shadows. Like hold out your hand and you'll see the shadow of your hand really distinctly on the ground, like thrown on the ground. So looks like we've got some ULA replays here. God, that thing jumped off the pad.
Yeah, I mean, like literally the plume from the rocket cleared the tower quicker than New Glenn did. Just saying.
Is that not saying much though? Like, what is? Oh, that's a tracking. Yeah. Now,
you see the venting coming off the side of the rocket as well.
Ryan, I see the little points of light going away. What's your money there? Do you think that is sparks coming off the SRB, or do you think that's pieces of ice that are being illuminated?
Oh, my gut is saying SRB bits. And that's not the technical term, but you know what I mean. Like just little remnants of that solid propellant. That's what my gut says. I wouldn't rule out ice, but my assumption would be that the ice would have already melted by the point it gets to, I have my, kind of general doubts on ice's sustainability being
Ice would
able
live.
to survive that much through the. I mean, we're seeing sparks significantly below those SRBs, right? And those are big SRBs, so
Yeah.
that's why my gut is leaning towards little bits of solid propellant that haven't burned fully, and they kind of linger in the plume just a few seconds longer. I mean, you can also see it here. That was definitely ice at the pad, but they kind of evaporate instantly. They get kind of burned off.
That pad is absolutely getting roasted. Look at that. The 4 SRBs are just, I don't want to say annihilating that pad, but they are totally roasting that pad. And the SRBs, like when we go to these launches and ULA allows us access to put out remote cameras, which are cameras that sometimes they let us put close to the pad. When you come up to get your camera and it's been an SRB launch, you actually need to be a little bit careful because some of that SRB residue, you don't want to get it on your hands and rub it in your eyes or anything like that, right? So when you pick up the cameras and the entire pad, like they wash the pad off from that SRB residue, because that SRB residue is not something you want to rub into your face, right?
Oh, it looks like we've got this beautiful wide shot as well. Look at the water, how it just reflects. Yeah. I mean, this is just, and the plume. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
The plume. It's a pillar of smoke. It's just a straight up pillar of smoke.
Just, Brian, it brings back the memories of those beautiful shuttle launches, right? You could see like the aerial photos of shuttle launches. You can see the solid rocket plume just arcing up to the rocket, and then there's the rocket. I mean, who doesn't love some solid rocket booster action?
I'm so torn. Like the BE4s with their blue-purple plume, nighttime is the right time to watch those engines, right? But daytime is the time to watch SRB launches because you can see this pillar of smoke following the rocket up. So this is it's a conflicting rocket for me, right? I love to see the blue glow, and you can only get that in the dark, but you're sort of missing that. Wow.
That is something.
What?
That was quite the replay.
Jeez. That might have been a flare-off because that looked like it was coming from that left-hand side, but it's also not inconceivable. I'm pretty sure I know what that word means.
Let's watch it again.
Yeah, that those SRBs might have lit little parts of the pad on fire. There you can really clearly see that's off
that looks
to the
like
side where the flare is.
Kind of the flare stack. Yeah, kind of the flare stack area. Maybe the plume is just kind of making the flare stack more flary than it usually is, or just kind of carrying the light, scattering the light, perhaps making it look a lot worse than it actually is.
Yeah, we do see that sometimes where you've got a bunch of smoke to reflect the light of the flare off, and then sometimes you're depressurizing, you're dumping the extra propellant from the line, so you get a big flare stack all of a sudden, right? And so maybe that is what we're seeing there. It's also possible.
I think
burn some grass.
This is Max's track. But look, you can see the bam of the SRBs igniting, and then off the pad it goes. I mean, look at that.
That is just too cool.
And there goes Max to pick up the camera and follow it. I mean, just look at that. You can tell we're like, technical commentators because we keep going, wow, oh my goodness, that's so beautiful.
Look at the clear inner engines of the SRBs. Like Max had the angle here because from the 90-degree angle over on the causeway, they were looking side on to the SRB plume, but Max is looking between the two plumes.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I'm also going to be a bad commentator and hopefully backseat produce a little bit here, but fingers crossed we carry this through to stage separation because we saw stage separation from the side on angle. I want to see stage separation from this front on angle because I want to see how that looks with the 4 SRBs.
Look at how it's arcing over that occlusion shot where the plume, the SRB plume was in front of the rocket. That had to be Max too.
Oh, look at that. Going through the clouds. Got some audio too. Oh my goodness.
Even that's just a cool effect.
And then it reappears right there.
That thing is just hauling the mail, folks.
And the car horn.
Car alarms? Yeah. Like who's locking their car at that point?
But look, as it gets higher in the atmosphere, the plume just turns so... But the BE4s are almost making the There go the SRBs. Look at that. Look at that.
SRBs burning out. The SRB thrust was trailing off, so there was less orange, and you got more of that blue BE4 in the middle, and then SRBs came off. I bet you dollars to donuts what we observe there as it transitions from the orange to the blue is the thrust trail off of those SRBs.
Was that Max in the audio going, wow? Because I don't blame him. That was beautiful. But yeah, just before the SRBs fully burnt out, like as they were burning out, the BE4s, they were kind of making the SRB plume turn blue. Like it was kind of lighting up the SRB plume with blue methane exhaust. I mean, that was just... And then it's just this blue spotlight in the sky that continues.
The stars in the background, you can get a sense of velocity when you see the stars going past, how fast this thing is going. You know, this is like a physics optic scattering sort of thing. Is there something about the light wavelengths that come off these blue-purple engines, right, that make them glow more at night? It really seems like they have this big halo effect that you don't see as much on the orange plumes, like the RP-1, Falcon 9, that sort of stuff. It just, the way that light glows around it, it just looks so cool.
I don't know if there was maybe like a thin layer of haze over, like maybe, I don't know, a few thousand feet that was just kind of scattering the light a bit more, or I'm not sure. But because we could definitely, when on the ascent, we could definitely see the vehicle pass through a layer of something because the plume kind of changed a little bit, and that was pretty. And we, of course, called it out when that happened. But it definitely seems like there was a little bit of layer of something in there because, of course, you can see now the rocket getting higher, and that spotlight effect is kind of dimming out a little bit.
Like chat, here Z30 says it was an almost Korolev cross. Z30, I think we could say that's Korolev's X-Wing.
I know who Korolev is, and I know what the reference is to Soyuz, but I don't do Star Wars or Star Trek, whichever one that one's for. So
oh my,
yeah.
Can I server mute Ryan? I think I can.
Yeah, you definitely can, and I will see.
Thank you for your service, Ryan. We don't need you on the stream anymore. No, I'm kidding. In any event, how are we doing on the replays here? Like, here you can see the true hardcore rocket fans that are still hanging out with us. 2,600 people watching the replays with us. Ryan, there's where we got that weird plume effect.
Yeah, right there, right at the end. And yeah, I don't know if it's just the exhaust, because we see on Falcon 9 as well, like the exhaust dynamic. I don't know the physics of it, but visually the dynamic of the exhaust changes as it gets to the trailing end of its burn. And of course here with BE4s, it's now approaching booster engine cutoff. Maybe that same thing happens with Vulcan, and then the exhaust is just lighting up kind of that trailing propellant that's getting pushed out the back.
Hey, this is an interesting point. Pags says the soot in most Kerlox engines hides the bright glow from inside the engines. I could sort of see that maybe being an effect because you do have more particulate coming out of those complex hydrocarbons, right? The RP1, the space kerosene that you get in the Falcon 9s. It does. It has more particulate that comes out the back of it, right? Versus the cleaner burning things like methane is a simpler chemical reaction. It just have a bunch of wacky molecules that they need to break apart to get this energy out of them, right? I could see that being part of it, where that physical media sort of absorbs some of that so you don't get that same glow that you see when it's the super clean burning liquefied natural gas here.
And just to shout out to Max, because when the booster engine cutoff happened, like the screen went black, but he obviously kept moving the camera at the same rate, because when the second stage ignited, like 10 seconds later, he had those RL-10 engines in shot. So big kudos to Max for that one, because that's again, this ain't easy, folks. This takes some experience.
It really is one of the rules of tracking rockets is that they sort of have to obey physics. They don't sort of have to obey physics. They have to obey physics, right?
They definitely do.
So if it goes behind a cloud or something, if you can, like constant rate, you can just continue moving at the same rate you were before. And it's experience. It's like muscle memory to keep the track going. Sometimes you'll still have that rocket in frame when it comes out the other side of the cloud or out of the fog or whatever, because the rocket doesn't teleport. It continues moving whenever you can't see the rocket. And here you've almost got this, the rocket was going up, And now the rocket, from our perspective, seems to be going down. Max is tracking it back down again. So it's just so many different cool ways that you sort of run into trying to track these little man-made shooting stars that we send up here from the Cape and, well, Starbase. I mean, that's a different type of shooting star we send up from Starbase. Those are more meteorites coming back down again a lot of the times. But you know what I'm talking about. Like, it is just really cool to see.
100%.
We've got some social posts, I think, here.
And I think you can see, I don't know if that's the ice or the SRB propellant, but this awesome shot from Max coming out of the left-hand side of the exhaust there, just kind of getting thrown out there. And you can see how the pad is literally engulfed in the plume. Of course, a lot of that, wonderful zoom in, thank you, Kevin. But of course, a lot of that is the water deluge system that's going to be used for sound suppression and protecting the pad. But I mean, just look at that, it gets engulfed.
Just the way, like, how quickly those SRB plumes spread out. And look at just going out in every direction. That really is a crazy... I think we've got a little...
You get a bit of an aspect ratio problem on that one.
we had a stubby Vulcan all of a sudden there. But in any event, that is just a cool shot. And then all of the detail on the plume as it's billowing out away. Here's a streak shot from Sawyer, it looks like.
And you can see the color change in the exhaust as it rises in the atmosphere.
That is too cool. Down low, there's lots of humidity down there on the ground. You see the big wide plume. You get the mix in from the plume sort of scattering the light as it takes off. Then it becomes a little pencil thin, and then it starts to change color. Look at it go from that yellow color, the white almost to a yellow, then into an orange, and then just at the end, the very top, right as it's going out of frame, you start to see it turn blue, don't you, Ryan?
Yeah, I mean, that is just... I'm almost lost for words with the cool stuff. I mean, this shot again from Sawyer, look at you can see the blue like trying to make its way through the SRB plume there, but the SRB plume is getting in the way and saying, no, I'm front stage right now. I mean, just look at that, and you can see the ring of the lens as well, like framing the rocket within the artifact of the lens there. That's just a beautiful shot, and there's more to come.
And again, y'all, as the folks in the field are capturing stuff, they capture streak shots, they capture stills like this. We've got replays. Look at this shot that Jerry got.
And you can see the BE4s kind of doing their thing, the plume expanding, and then the four little trailing SRBs. That one in the bottom right, you can see it's not pointing, kind of parallel with the vehicle. It's looking a little bit perpendicular there as it flies away. And you can see the SRB being lit up by the exhaust of the BE4s.
That is too cool. Even look at the blue effect there on the top of that one plume, and then just the 4 points of light, because the SRBs are no longer providing substantial thrust, but they're still hotter than heck, right? And so they're still glowing. Each one of those points of light is, you're looking up the tailpipe of the SRB, and you see that glow that's sort of existing there, even though they've burned out most of it. They're not really producing any thrust anymore here, right?
Yeah, well, I won't say they're not producing any thrust, but they're producing so little thrust that it doesn't really matter. And this is another streak shot from... Exactly. This is another streak shot from Max here. And you can see this is just beautiful. Right at the top of the curve, of that initial curve, you can see it cuts out for a minute. I think that is where the plume covers the rocket.
Wow.
The SRB plume covers the rocket for a hot second, and then after that point, it's then blue because the SRBs get jettisoned just shortly after.
No kidding. I'm trying to, like, the little plants in the way here. I wonder where this shot was. We could follow for Max. Folks, what you should do is, if you want to learn more about these, all these are posted online. Max and Julia and Sawyer and Jerry, they're posting these pictures up on their social accounts. So we should see if we can't get some of those links for you over in the chat. But here we're showing them to you. The best thing to do is go and look at them directly on X, wherever they're getting posted, and then follow all of our folks over there. Like, follow Max directly, follow Julia directly, follow Jerry directly, Sawyer too, right? D's in there too. Like, just follow all of our folks directly. We need an info card that just has all of those on it that we can link in chat. Idea for the future.
I thought the WB-57 was going back to Houston, but it might actually be descending towards Florida. I might have been incorrect on that one. I'm not sure if it's just, gone down to a lower cruising level, or if it's at 27,000 feet right now. So maybe it's coming into land. I don't know. Guys, can we get the cameras out again? Can we track the WB-57?
Track the WB-57 coming back in again. Nice. There you go. Gabriel GG's got it. I'm going to head to X after this stream for some more beautiful pics of Vulcan. I agree. That is what you should do.
And there we go. VAB. There's an SLS inside there, by the way, if you didn't know. There's a fully stacked SLS, well, fully stacked without the Orion on top, SLS inside that building right now. If only we had X-ray vision. But yeah, Artemis 2 coming up in about 6 months. People going around the moon. How can you not be hyped? Come on, guys. That's going to be incredible.
Yeah. Folks, we are coming up to the end of our coverage here. I'm not going to repeat the same thing over and over again. If you like hanging out with us, you know how to get back to us. Follow us here. Turn on the notifications. We do live streams. We do videos. We do analysis. We do shorts. We do replays. If you like rockets and you like sharing rockets with other people or learning more about rockets, you can follow us here, right? Also, all the other socials, you can find us on all of the major socials. We had that card up there on the screen for quite a while. If you're a fan of Starbase, you want to know what's going on with the SpaceX Starship program, we've got a 24/7 stream. You can watch this 24/7. It's been going for years and years now. Some testing happened today, and I'm not sure that they completed that testing successfully. I'm going to have to check up with the team that did that broadcast to see if they think that the test was completed or if they're going to have to come back again. There we go. Looks
Apparently
like
they scrubbed.
Thank you. I was dragging it out, hoping to get an answer so that I could share here with the stream.
I heard some rumors earlier. There might have been a little bit of leakage going on with some of the GSE, so I'm not sure if there's anything official that's been said about that. But we'll be keeping an eye. SpaceX has windows pretty much whenever they like. I think they have one scheduled for tomorrow, starting at 6 o'clock in the morning. Good riddance. But yeah, keep an eye. We'll go live if anything exciting happens with Ship 37 on the orbital launch pad.
It actually looks like there's people walking around down on the bottom of the pad with flashlights right now, maybe inspecting something. But we do all sorts of stuff. Yeah, there you go. See the person walking down there? Just went behind the thing. Now they're back in front of it again, or behind it.
Yeah, they're like 2 pixels tall. It's impossible to see because this vehicle is so big.
We cover all sorts of different stuff. And if you want to hang out with space nerds and learn about stuff, you know how to find us again. The other thing, massive thanks to everybody who supports what we do. Julie Chaston, thank you for upgrading to the red team here at the end. Lindsay Ray joined the red team a little while ago. Rebel Dorman is what the name is. Thank you for becoming a launch director. Remember, different levels you join. If you join Capcom or above, you can join us behind the scenes in our Discord server. You could chat with us. You can give us feedback on products. You could talk to us about streams and videos and that sort of stuff you could do. And you could just chat with other like-minded space folks. Heck, we've got forums. We've got news websites. We've got all sorts of different stuff. But however it is you choose to support us, we really do appreciate y'all showing up. Ryan, it has been quite literally a well-controlled blast.
Yeah, this has been very fun, and I'm just saying, if ULA wants to up their launch cadence to twice a month, I want twice DAS on stream cadence going forward. Just saying.
You want me to beat ULA stream cadence with my own stream?
Yeah, I mean, I want Alex to start a spreadsheet right now, and in a year's time, in 12 months, we'll see, did ULA launch more, or was DAS on stream more?
Oh, good deal. Hey, big thanks to the production team as well. Kevin Michael Reed, our head producer here, was on the controls, showing you all the stuff. Kevin making streams happen that usually would be a huge team of production people making all the different things happen. We have a very light team to get these things done. So thank you, Kevin, for producing. You saw Dr. WD-40 there as well. Let's say thanks to the field team. That was D. You just saw Max Evans as well. Max really struck pay dirt there, staying over at the press site and getting the shot between the two SRBs. They all have their own social medias. You can follow them, keep up with them, and support what they do. We had Julia Bergeron and Sawyer Rosenstein and Jerry Pike all over. I'm not doing it in the right order. I'm doing it in the wrong order. So the things are just appearing all over the place. But in any event, folks, my name is Das. My name is actually John, but my mom calls me my made-up internet name, which is Das. so y'all can as well. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Pretty sure I got everybody. Hey, thanks to the stream ops as well, the Space Coast Live stream ops, the Starbase Live stream ops. It's a whole team of volunteers that point cameras around and stuff like that. What else did I miss, Ryan?
I was going to say that I think you named everyone I would have named, so fingers crossed we got everybody.
So we're at least on the same page if we've left anybody out. We never mean to.
We share responsibility.
We share responsibility, nice. In any event, folks, that's going to be the end of the broadcast here. You can keep watching views of the VAB, views of the port, views of Starbase from our 24/7 streams, but we're going to
You didn't just say VAB. You didn't just say VAB.
I did say
oh
VAB.
My goodness.
It's because Kerbal. You're right.
VAB.
Thank
VAB.
you.
I'm leaving the stream now. I'm leaving the stream.
Good. Fine. Folks, we do appreciate you watching this view of the VAB. You can keep watching.
Much better.
Thank you for... I was in a hurry trying to end the stream. I'm being played off. We appreciate y'all watching, and we will see you nerds later. Thank you so much for watching.
And here we go. We have liftoff. Propulsion continues to be nominal.
RS-68 chamber pressure looks good.
Traveling up. Roger, roll, Atlantic.
Water towers fly! Yes!
Tango down to nominal.
Fighting downside of speed off. Bring in SPD off. Off. It's orange!
R45! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Decollage. Look at this! Put that in the big bag,
343 unfolds to go.
Indeed. We rise together, back to the moon and beyond.
This methane will be igniting with the flare, correct?
Yikes. You good? Sure. We don't need any more of these.